Anybody out there this evening? K82EXP? A lot of noise going on. WG2E, K82EXP out there, Carl? Hello, 160, K82EXP. Nobody here but us chickens. CQ 160, CQ, K82EXP calling. Okay, well, QS1 will be back later. K82EXP Albany.
Welcome, Blood. Anybody out here yet? N1 DBL? Yeah, I don't know. I was getting some oddball tuning things here for some reason. I really can't understand what you're saying. I mean, I don't even know who this is. Your signal's way down. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I heard your call. Yeah, I was having a hard time hearing you. Are you running your ramp? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, yeah, it's early. Well, not that early, 7:30, so I'm sure the signals will come way up. I guess so. I guess it's about time.
You okay here? KB2ZVP. Hello, radio.
I'm here too, but I'm working on one. Remember the old Pulsar digital watch?
Oh my God.
Well, I've got one of those, and I needed to buy batteries, and it's the same battery that goes on my vernier caliper. So, and they came in 3, so I bought 3 of them, and now I'm putting my watch back together. I mean, come on, when's the last time you saw a guy wearing one of these digital watches?
It's been some time.
Hello.
I'm working too. I'm trying to understand what is behind Ray's mind. Somewhere in there, I'm going to understand it someday.
You'll never understand it, and if you do, you'll wind up being as crazy as him.
Ray, you're very interesting.
This is a cool watch, and it's got an adjustment in it, and it gives you the exact frequency right down to 1 cycle. And I'll have to get my frequency counter on it and figure out how to adjust it absolutely. When I first got this watch, I ran it for 1 full year. After 1 full year, it had only moved less than 1 second.
We should all look for those old digital watches, the Casio digital watches.
There was a time that I would get one of those every year for Christmas, a different variation of those digital watches. Now I never wear a watch. Never.
I haven't worn one. What happens with me is when I wear a watch, the cement dust will get between my skin and the back of the watch, and if I sweat, I'll get a rash right there. I'll get a burn, an actual burn.
I thought maybe it might set up and bond the watch to your skin. So what's going on, Randy?
Well, we just came in. We were outside. We got a lot done today. I was up on a ladder cutting a whole bunch of limbs out of the trees, and I'm looking at the antenna thinking to myself, holy cow, there's so much better I could do. So I've got work to do tomorrow.
Boy, as I see these leaves grow, I see that my dreams of putting up a loop are fading away.
Why is that?
Because I see all the obstacles that I didn't see in the winter.
I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I can see all the obstacles in my way.
And now I want to stay with my dipole. I'm always afraid if I got away from the dipole, I'd be worse off with an inverted L or with a loop, but you wouldn't know until you tried.
I think I could speak with relative assurity that if you built it right, really, really right, you'd have very good success with an inverted L or a loop or anything that you built if you built it right.
Hello.
Hello.
Is that Bernie?
Is that Mark?
Somebody's light in there. I don't know who it is.
Bernie Light. I was up at Colgate all day today, I got
anyway, what did you get done today? I worked this morning. We both worked this morning, worked till noon, and then we rototilled 3 beds of the garden, regular garden.
Hopefully he'll
and then we did a berry patch for the raspberries, strawberries. No, raspberries and blackberries.
We got to finish.
And then we did another berry patch for the blueberries, and I think there's something else going in there. I might put some grapes in there. I'm not sure, but we got a few different patches going, and we'll see how they work out. But I think they're going to be good. Now we've got a bunch of lilac to plant tomorrow, and cranberry trees or bushes to plant tomorrow, and maple trees to plant tomorrow, and some blue spruce aspen, some other pine trees to plant tomorrow.
Hello.
Now I gotta set the thing.
740.
Yeah, this watch ain't easy to set. You gotta set it with a magnet.
Okay, so on the cranberry trees, don't you need do they produce real cranberries?
It's a bush, some kind of bush. I don't know. It gets 15 feet tall, 10 feet wide. These are big. These things are big when they're fully grown.
So I remember in South Jersey they had these big cranberry bogs that Ocean Springs owned, and you'd go by them, when the cranberries would drop off, and this bog was just covered in red. It was just the most amazing thing to look at.
Yeah, no, these are, I don't know what they are. You can look them up on the internet. Maureen ordered them from the Cooperative Extension, so they are what they are. When we get them, they're here. Once we get them planted and they start to grow, we'll figure out what the heck good are they or not.
I was noticing up at Colgate, every tree up there has a tag on it, a tag with a serial number on it. It's just amazing.
That's so they can keep track of what they're feeding the trees and what kind of condition they're in and all that,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got, I've got to do this 56 trees on Oak Drive, and some of these trees are just rotten. They're ready to fall over.
ATR 30 for sale. $350 shipped.
Wow, that's expensive. I think the $250 that Good Mike and I were looking at last week was the final price. I don't know if that was shipped though.
Palistar AT2K, $475. This guy, whoever this is must be thinking that his stuff is better than everybody else's.
Well, if you can get it.
Sure. Ray, what's an AT1KM, Palistar? AT1KM. That's the original balance line tuner, isn't it?
I don't have any idea.
To 3,000 watts. It's got one roller inductor and one tune. Balance line, coax, 1212, balance bypass. Okay, AT1KM. I don't know what that. I don't know what it is. I have to look it up. Good evening, Toad people. Whiskey Golf 2 Echo. Did you watch the Kentucky Derby?
What a screwing.
It was kind of damp. What happened with it? I was watching it for a while, and before they raced, I switched off, and I switched back after the race was over. So, it doesn't matter that much to me, but it seems like there's some controversy.
Yeah, they filed a protest, and the horse that won was disqualified, and the second place horse won.
Why was he disqualified?
Because he was coming around that last turn, the horse went out of his lane, and he got in front of the other horse for a second or two, and then he pulled him back in. And this is they said the winning horse has never been disqualified in 145 years, and it wouldn't happen this time, and it did happen.
And the horse just went out of its lane, like to cut the other one off?
Yeah, it went right in front of him. It was right in front of him, and then the guy pulled the horse back in after a couple hundred feet, and he finished. They finished first, second. So the winning horse, got in the way of the second horse, and then he got him back in the lane, and then he won. But in all honesty, I mean, what a shame, because the winning horse is the one that they said was the number one horse to win. Had the best, the lowest odds, 1, 1, and 4, and the horse has won the last 4 races he's entered. So that horse won its 5th race in a row, and the horse that won the Derby was the highest, the lowest, horse. The odds were 65-1, I think it was, and that's the horse that won. Never won a race.
Yep, 65-1.
Real travesty. Well, somebody got a good payout.
$3 million.
Highest bidding ticket was $132.50. K1 Roger, Mary, Charlie.
Yeah, whoever that is in there trying to get in, you're not going to make it, bud. You're way too weak.
Okay, thank you. K1 Roger, Mary, Charlie. Thanks.
Well, before I say that, I should have asked if anybody else can hear you. So hang in there, or make sure you got your compression down. Give us all the power you got. Give us all the mic gain you got. Can anybody hear this person?
Yeah, I could hear him fine.
Oh, wow. See, I can't hear him. That's my mistake. I shouldn't have just discounted him.
No, I can't hear. I barely can. I can tell somebody's in there, but he's just way below the noise.
Okay, this is K1 Roger, Mary, Charlie, K1 RMC, Manchester, New Hampshire. Trying out a new loading coil in the wire antenna here. Trying out a new loading coil in the wire antenna here. Wondering if anybody's copying me okay. K1 RMC, name is Mark. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, Manchester, New Hampshire.
Yeah, Mark. Keep it short, okay? Because if the other guys can't hear you, you can't go on and go on and on. I'm hearing you here, but I'm near Springfield, Mass, and I think that's the reason I'm hearing you, because you're close. Are you running 100 watts?
This is K1RC, Roger, FT 990, 100 watts.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's part of the problem, You really need at least 1,000 watts for this band in the summertime or when it's getting noisy. But your signals, I wouldn't call it great. I don't think you have a great signal here. You're an S9. I think it should be higher than that. But I don't know. Randy, say something.
Yeah, well, anybody else that's in your neck of the woods running 100 watts, a lot stronger than that. I mean, he's right at the noise level. I heard him just say FT 990 100 watts. I did hear him say that. So maybe the band's just got to pick up a little bit with it when it gets a little bit more dark, because it's still quite bright.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. His signal isn't that. You're only about 10. You were only 10 over 9, then you went up to 20. So an S9 really isn't all that bad. But yeah, wait till the sun goes down and come back and try it again, okay? Because the other guys in New York can't hear you. I can hear you, but they can't. So I would say you're not really radiating a great signal. But come back in another 45 minutes or so and try it again.
Hello. Yankee Mike 4RC. Roger. Thanks, guys. K1RC clear.
Hey, Mark, what is your call?
Roger, K1 Romeo Mike Charlie. K1 RMC. Over.
Okay, I got it. K1 RMC, and you are getting stronger, actually, as the band gets a little bit longer here. So yeah, Ray's 100% right. When it gets a little bit darker, you'll be a lot stronger here. And we're all out here. We're all running high power,
Roger. Okay, very good. I'll let you guys carry on. Thanks again for letting me break in. Really appreciate it.
Except for me.
Sorry, time for the 73.
Okay, Mark. Nice to meet you, 73 for now. And hello, Doc.
Hi, Randy. I couldn't even hear him.
Yeah, he was pretty light here to me too, real light. But he got stronger a little bit later on there. So it's just we just got to get the band to work a little bit,
Yankee Mike uniform.
Who's the Yankee Mike uniform?
Roger. The name is the call is WB2YMU. The name is Jim. We're here in Central New York. How's your copy, Eddie?
Hey, you're fine to me, Jim. Where in Central New York are you?
We're located in a little town called West Winfield, New York.
West Winfield, New York.
That is correct. I heard you guys talking about the Derby. Well, the highest ticket on that 65 to 1 was
I don't know what that means.
Well, that means the highest person bet 132.50, and that was the highest that won.
So what's that mean for a payout? How much do they get?
Well, figure it out. 65 to 1 at 132.50. We're talking about a little over 70,000.
Oh, I see. So it's 65 to 1 was the odds of the horse.
That's correct. That's what the horse that won.
Okay.
West Winfield's south of Utica. Bridgewater. You got Waterville, Bridgewater. West Winfield's just east of Bridgewater.
Oh, so you're right around the corner, really. You're not far from here at all. Probably a couple hundred miles at the most.
No, not even. He's about an hour, maybe an hour and a half from me.
Well, that would be down toward like Jericho, Hicksville, and like that, right?
No. I mean, you got Utica, and looks like it's about maybe, not even a half hour south of Utica. Not even.
Well, I'm 22 miles south of Utica. 22 miles south of Utica, off of Route 8.
I'm 22 miles north of Utica.
So we're working pretty close. By the way, the rig here is a Icon 7300 with a long wire up at about 45 feet. Inverted L fashion.
And what's your power?
We're running right now 100 watts with the True D tuner. And without the tuner, we're at 160. Right now, it's 40-foot vertical and another 60 feet, our total length of the antenna is 132 feet, so 40-foot vertical with a 9-to-1, and then the rest of it is horizontal, long wire.
So that's not a long wire. A long wire antenna, so you know by definition, is an antenna that's more than one wavelength long. That's what you call a long wire. You're running a very short antenna, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I call it it's an inverted L, so that's what we're using with a 9-to-1, the ICOM IC7300.
Yeah, you're running an inverted L, exactly. Okay.
It works. Does well for me.
What's your call?
My call is Whiskey Bravo 2, Yankee Mike, WB2 YME.
Ray, are you hearing him out there?
He's coming in real nice here. WA2EES.
Yeah, he's close to all of us. Now, did you used to live in Long Island?
At one point, I lived in Brooklyn, New York, yes. And then I migrated up here about 15 or 16 years ago.
Don't you think it's time to change your QRZ address?
QRZ address?
Well, it says Plainville, New York.
Plainview, New York. Hold on a second. Let me look this up real quick.
You got a ranch style house with a beam on the top, yellow, and it looks like some kind of stone or something on the bottom.
He's Whiskey Bravo 2 Yankee Mike uniform.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Yankee Mike Charlie. Sorry, my mistake.
Wrong call. It's the first mistake you've made all year, man. I thought you were going to get through this year with no mistakes.
Yeah, I made a couple of mistakes so far, even just today. So, okay, I had the wrong call. It was my fault 100%. I had you as Charlie. I was a little lazy with my uniform.
Okay. Confusing. Yes, I did live in New York at the time, Brooklyn. I migrated up here 16 years ago.
You are 53.5 miles from me and here in Toad Harbor.
Okay, very good. Yeah, we're, like I said, we're We're in the cross between Leonardsville and West Springfield, right on the borderline. So, and I always try to tell people we're 22 miles south from Utica on Route 8, which is the main highway near me, or like you said, between Bridgewater and the other little town called New Berlin. So we're right in the center of each. I'm about 4 miles from Bridgewater.
Yeah, you're close, no doubt. Anyway, you're doing a good job here. Fine signal here into central New York.
Oh, very good. I just wanted to check in, see how my signal was in, because I did some changes on the antenna, and I just put the new tuner in the line, just for this band, which is the MFJ tuner, for the 945B, and I tuned up on it. I just wanted to see how it's doing quite well, I can see. I mean, without the tuner, it's registering at 3 to 1. On the other band, all the other bands, now it's 1.5 to 1. So it works out really well.
Yeah. You're obviously running it with coax, right?
Yes, LMR 400 and 120 feet of coax.
Then that's the only problem you'll have is if you put an amplifier to that, you'll probably wind up burning up something because that's really lossy stuff when you get a high SWR. But if you're only running 3 to 1 or so, you're probably going to be just fine.
Oh yeah, well the rig on the tuner handles it, but it's very like every couple of cases it's very touchy. So I run it through the MFJ. Otherwise, it's nightmare. It's really bad. I don't have any intention kilowatts here because I own the circuit breakers around here to handle them. I'll have the electrician and run a separate breakers. I'm going to kind of fire up a couple of lights around here.
Yeah, you won't want to be on 160 without a kilowatt. That's the thing. You won't be heard. This band gets so noisy in the summertime. You know, you just get 3,000 watts isn't enough, right, Mike?
That's right.
Yes, I noticed. 160's been really crummy the last couple of weeks. Hey, matter of fact, 75 is hopping tonight is unusual, and 40, so it ain't too bad. Oh, gentlemen, I just wanted to drop in, see you all. I heard the signal in there. I just wanted to make sure I was definitely getting out. It wasn't just I considered the band condition. I thought of just the radio. I just wanted to find out. But thank you for the input, and you enjoy the conversation. Thank you very much. This is WBT1U, and Jim, White Cool Miners.
Jim, 73. It's good to talk to you. This is Kilo Bravo 2 Zulu Victor Papa, and you've tripped on the world famous Toad Harbor net. So we're here 365 days a year here on this frequency. So stop by anytime and enjoy 160 when you can. And you're close to all of us, so it'd be good to have you stop by more often and get together with you, and we'll have breakfast or something sometime.
And that'd be a good group meeting, definitely. Okay, WB2YMU will be on site.
73 is Jim. This is Whiskey 2 Mike Uniform Radio in Holland, Patton, New York.
Ray, are you back?
Hey, Jim, this is Carl, Whiskey Golf 2 Echo. You got a good 5/9 signal here near Schenectady, over.
You want me to relay for you, Carl?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay. Just trying to offer it up there, pal.
He pushed the off button pretty quick.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good, Carl. How you doing?
Okay, canceled the Ham Fest. I didn't go.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, I got up at 5:30 and it was raining. I said, well, I'll wait an hour, and I got up and it was still ugly, so I just went back to bed.
Tell you, Bill put on some videos of he went out someplace out there and had a barbecue or a prime rib cook-off. There were 15, I think he said 15 cooks with all these big grills set up making prime rib, and you could sample them all. Holy cow! Would I have gone to that had I known?
Oh yeah, I would have tried an end cut off every one.
You better believe it.
I don't want to ask a delicate question, and I realize it probably wasn't really warm today, but how did the gardening go?
Oh, the gardening went fantastic, Carl. All good in the Toad Harbor hood.
Yeah, but wasn't this a special gardening day?
It was. It was a garden naked day.
She had to be careful with that pitchfork, though.
You should see. Anyway, all I can say is there wasn't much gardening naked out there today. Probably, more likely, next weekend when it's warmer. But there was a couple of pre-runs, let's put it that way. So we have our outfits picked out for next weekend.
Or lack thereof. You got your outfits when you're all done gardening of what you're going to be getting into.
Hey, Mike. What do they call that? What goes along with your outfit? Your hat, your tie, and your shoes. You know.
Accessories.
The accessories. You gotta have the accessories picked out.
I remember streaking when I was in high school, and I had nothing on but a belt and some shoes and a bag over my head.
Michelle came over. She was ready to take pictures, but Maureen was not having it.
I remember I was down in Whitesboro when I was a kid in high school, and we went down to there used to be a laundromat right there on Oriskany, on Route 69, where Tamers used to be. I don't know if you remember Tamers. You probably wouldn't. The Oriskany folks would. But anyway, so I go down to this. So these guys bet me $20 that I wouldn't go streaking in front of this laundromat. So we go down, I get all ready or unready, and put a bag over my head so nobody could see me, and I go right in this big picture window with a laundromat, and I started jumping up and down. I had these boots on, and this lady was just taking clothes out of the dryer. She looks over at me, and she throws the clothes up over her head. And it was the funniest thing ever. Minute I got out of there, I thought I was going to give her a heart attack.
Now, Mike, you haven't got to lie to us. Just tell us the real story. She fell down laughing. You think she may have even broke her hip or something. She hit the ground so hard.
It could well have been. I didn't stick around to find out.
Man, what a sunset we have right now.
We didn't get any sun here till just about dinner time. Hey, Mike.
Yes, Carl.
I heard you talking about the trees there that all had their tags on it. I don't know if you noticed it at all when you were in Northampton, but all around the Smith College and everything, all the trees, they all got a plaque on them. When they were planted, what they are, their Latin name, all that stuff.
Yeah, this is, they've got a big agricultural program, I guess, at Colgate, but we have to light up about 70 or so willow trees. And when I first saw these tags on there, I thought maybe it was because of the previous company that had put up these Christmas lights that went up on these trees for graduation. It's beautiful, but no, I found out that every one of them has a tag. And in fact, one of the tags was starting to get embedded into the tree itself. So somebody's not really paying attention to that one. But there's some trees that are not doing too well. And you go down Oak Drive, and then a lot of these oak trees all hollowed out because they're so close to the road. And a couple kids, one kid, I think my brother-in-law was saying, got killed on Oak Drive in Colgate because those trees are so close. He was just going too fast up that road and hit that tree and died.
Well, you be careful. No climbing.
Yeah, no climbing. I've got 4 guys that are putting up these lights, and I'm sitting there just rooting them on.
Oh, supervising.
Yeah, I'm putting the extension cords. And we get special extension cords we made with the correct spacing to the trees, and I'm throwing the guys all these lights that there's like 969 of these 25-foot rolls of Christmas lights, all like in little balls. So I have to throw the balls to the guys, so they can keep going. And we're going to get this on a big reel for next year.
Oh no, that's half the fun of Christmas is Christmas lights is untangling them.
Oh, they were really easy to get undone. They were just they were rolled up exactly the way they needed to be, and you would just take the plug and then you would just spin it off, and very few of them got tangled. So they really knew what they were doing.
Now they're all very easy to unwind the first time.
I'm not so sure. Jay got these big. My son Jason got these big reels, plastic reels, and he wants to put everything on these reels. I'm not sure if that's going to be any easier, to be honest with you.
Somebody in the background.
Yeah, they've been in there. I think there's somebody else in there talking. Maybe another conversation far off, like in East Tasmania or something.
Yeah, maybe it's like the auxiliary chapter of the Toad Harbor Net.
Yeah, do you think somebody somewhere stole our name?
They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't dare do that.
It's copyrighted, patent pending. I tell you what, man, I must be losing my mind. I hired 2 guys last year. No, I hired 3 guys last year. I know 2 of them. The third guy I haven't talked to since last year, so I can't remember his name. I know he's in my phone. He's in my iPhone. And I'm going through my notes to find out his name. I cannot figure out who his name is. And I went through all the hundreds of contacts, and I still haven't found the guy.
And 3 or more.
Marcus?
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm the survivor.
Can you sing Eye of the Tiger?
I could, but I don't really want to lose my status.
Got it. Oh, understood.
Like a certain famous actor once said, man's got to know his limitations.
A man's got to know his limitations. I never liked Clint Eastwood. That blonde-haired girl that he started doing a lot of those movies with? I never liked her.
Sandra Locke.
Yeah, I never liked her.
Why not?
I don't know. She didn't click with me.
Well, I'm really happy. We got a lot done today. We worked hard today. Got a lot of chainsawing done. I'll tell you something. My chainsaw started right up. Now, this chainsaw just sat out in the barn with no gas in it. The gas can sat out in the snow all winter long, and I wasn't even sure if it was the right gas. I just sniffed it. It smells like gas to me. Dumped it into the chainsaw, and pulled the cord, broke the rope. Had to take it apart, retie the knot, and about 3 pulls later, the old girl was running, knocking down limbs.
Did it have any 2-cycle oil in it?
Yeah, I guess. Must be.
You would have seized the motor up.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. It's a small gas can. I have a small gas can for 2-cycle oil, or 2-cycle gas, so I'm sure that's what that's got. I mean, I have been known to grab whatever I can grab at the minute and fill it up with regular gas if we're going to have a storm or something, but I don't think I did that. I think that's just got 2-cycle oil, and it started right up and ran, and You know, it did a great job today.
Was it ethylenated gas?
No, it's it's ethyl. It's not anything special. It's just the cheap stuff you go to the gas pump and buy.
Well, surprised that was still good.
Has to be at least a year old, that gas.
I've never had a problem with bad gas.
To be honest with you, I haven't either.
Some guys have had issues where it's actually separated, the ethanol separated from the actual gas.
I put some of that sea foam in the gas, like for the important stuff, like the Harley. But the other, I mean, this gas that I put in that chainsaw today didn't have anything in it. But I did use real good oil, you know, two cycle oil, so maybe that helped it.
Yeah, they might have something in the two-cycle oil that can help with that issue. The other thing is that it was dry when you put it into storage. That probably saved the carburetor too.
I'll tell you, there's nothing like when you're working with a chainsaw all day. That's the best exercise, unbelievably. That is just unbelievable exercise. I mean, my whole body is aching the next day, and it's hard work. And I got a light chainsaw, and if I'm out there for 3 hours, I mean, I can't even put my hands after that.
Yeah, the vibration, that really does you in.
What are you going to do when you get old? In the block plant, Mike.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't last probably a week in that place.
I'm glad I don't have to stack them anymore, but I used to stack, 7,000 blocks a day. Yeah, and that's picking them and stacking them.
So check this out. I'm getting ready to go to South Jersey last week. Early last week, right? So I left on Tuesday. So I'm feeling great, man. I just feel fantastic, you know? So I'm just getting everything ready, kind of putting stuff away before I get... So I got this big 20 pound of bird feed, which I don't even know why I bought it. I bought it at Lowe's. So I put that down in the basement, and I reached over on a table and picked this up wrong, and I hurt the lower part of my back, and it's still sore today. The stupidest thing I could ever imagine. You know, it's always the stupid things you do that they're the flies in the ointment. You know, it's that unexpected cut, that bad lift, that stupid little unthinkable maneuver that lays you up. Man, it didn't lay me up, but I've been in a little bit of pain.
Yep, you twist one way, and next thing you know, whoa!
It's just stupid bird feed. I don't even know why I bought the bird seed. That should have been for winter, not for summer.
Maureen pays big money to feed these stupid birds year-round. It drives me nuts. I don't see it, and I won't say anything to her, but it drives me nuts. I look around, and there's all kinds of stuff for the birds to eat, and there they are all over the backyard at the bird feeder. You know, it's like, why do we have to feed these freaking birds in the summertime?
Because we like looking at them.
Yeah, I like looking at them too, but I like looking at the green things in my wallet better.
I put my hummingbird feeder up today. I'm waiting for them they'll show up. Usually they come between this weekend and Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah, we have, she has hummingbird feeders out there, and they come and, whatever.
I like the hummingbirds. It's actually my favorite bird.
I like the chickadees.
Me too.
Chickadee-dee-dee-dee-dee. I like when I go out walking in the woods, I always keep a pocket full of sunflower seeds, and if one of them comes by kind of close to inspect you, you'll hold a handful of seeds out of there. A lot of times they'll come right down to your hand and take a seed.
That's hard to believe.
No, when I first bought my house, I was just sitting, there's a rock in the back of the yard. I was standing on top of the rock just kind of looking at things, being super quiet. And this chickadee didn't know I was a human. It landed right on my shoulder.
Yeah, they're not afraid of anything.
Oh, man, I'm telling you.
I couldn't believe it, man. It kind of startled me a little bit, but I didn't cry like I did with the snapping turtle.
Well, looks like tonight's going to be a repeat of last night.
It's a lot quieter so far.
Yeah, my signal level is S7.
That's okay. When you get a bigger amplifier, you could be an S9.
Who's going to get the extra one together, right?
Did you get that, Mike?
I got it.
All right, buddy.
My next purchase will be the HF tuner, HF auto rather, with the HF remote.
You know, that would be a nice combination. If you think about it, boy, what a nice combination that would be.
I mean, the thing is that it's so nice because, say I did get the high Q antenna working perfectly. Okay, so winter hits, then I can't hardly run that thing. So it's almost better off to take it off and just go remote. I was listening to you guys on the web SDR, and man, it was frustrating. When I went out like to answer a couple times,
when you live on $800 a month, it's kind of hard to think about amplifiers, especially $5,000 ones.
Well, you can get the Clipper Denell for $450, $500. The EL572 for under $700. They're great amps.
Yeah, there's a lot of amps around that are inexpensive, that work great. I was trying to get one from Bad Mike here, but he has an amp that he doesn't want to sell.
Yeah, it's always good to have a good tube amp handy, if you want to do a little bit of AMing once in a blue moon.
The nice glow.
It's a nice glow, and I like how the AL572's got the vertical. 572s are all nice and vertical.
Do they glow blue?
They glow a 2200 Kelvin.
Oh, my.
Hey, where's good Randy?
Pardon me?
Where's the good Randy?
I haven't spoken to him today. I don't know.
Okay, well, I've been having more darn fun with that oscilloscope.
What, have you been hooking it up to your brain and your heart and everything, doing your EKG and your pulse?
Well, my heart and my pulse work. The brain, it appears that it's dead.
You need a different probe for that.
What's the date today?
4/5/2019.
So 5/4, right?
10/4. No. 5/4. Come on, you guys think that was funny, right?
That was October, driver.
44s and 88s.
Okay, what the hell is 44?
I've never heard of that.
I don't know. I just thought that was one of the phrases.
I thought it was 73s and 88s. They used to say 3s and 8s.
I guess 44s when you get on, I don't know, maybe when you get on, maybe that's when you have dogs or something. I don't know.
When you have dogs?
I was going to say when you get on all fours, but I didn't want to go there.
You're a freaking sicko.
I get your mind out of the gutter. I wasn't meaning it like that.
When you have dogs. 44s.
Better. I'm not saying.
Are you having a Biden moment?
No, I'm not slurring my speech.
Boy, oh boy, you watch him on these speeches that he gives, and the guy's almost standing there drooling. You're starting to feel, I'm starting to feel sorry for the guy. Whoever you vote for, if he wins, if he becomes the president, you better hope there's a strong vice president, because that dude's not going to make it a year.
I don't know if he's drunk when he talks or what. He slurs his speech like really bad.
They're going to have to add a nursing home onto one of the wings of the White House. Rehabilitative care.
Well, if he gets elected, they'll get a Biden look-alike, and that'll be the guy there.
Wasn't there a movie about that?
Yeah, it was like, yeah, there was. I can't remember what it was.
Manchurian Candidate?
Yes.
I was going to say it's the one that had all the people that were like Wolf Guy. I can't think. My daughter loves those things. The Wolf Guy with the claws that come out. They had in one of those shows. They had a president that was not actually who the president really was. He was dead, and he was locked up. That's right. He was locked up, and they had some psychopath being the president.
Yeah, that was X-Men.
X-Men. Thank you.
Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine. I don't pay enough attention. That stuff, obviously you can tell it doesn't stick with me very well.
Always on the latest of societal evolution. I think you need to work a little harder on that, Randy. That way the Toad Harbor Net can become more relevant in the later generation's life.
I have someone for that. That part is we'll put someone in charge of that.
It has to be somebody young and thinks way too much of themselves.
You mean you're not talking about a millennial, are you?
Well, if you want to touch the hearts of a certain demographic, you have to kind of use one in the demographic.
We don't want that demographic touched. I mean, I like to touch one with my, ring a neck, maybe.
Now that sounds like hate speech.
There it goes. Yeah, it is hate speech. There's another Harley. They've been going up and down the road here today, these Harley Davidson drivers. I think they're doing it just to upset me.
Why don't you get yours out and show them what side their bread is buttered on?
Well, I would, but we have so much to do, just trying to get Toad Harbor headquarters looking good, and we got all these plants that we ordered and all the trees and things that came in, and so we're rototilling and planting and picking up. We got piles and piles of sticks from the winter and from other trees that we've cut down. We got to get all that stuff picked up, all these logs, chopped up smaller and drug out to the log piles. I can cut them and split them.
Well, I'll have to come out and see the Arboretum sometime. WG2E.
Kilo Bravo 2, Zulu Victor Papa.
WA2ES. I got a garden tractor out there with a 27-horse Kohler V-twin that sounds just like a Harley.
N1SAG.
Hello, David.
This is on Gary's amp.
What's that?
We're talking on Gary's amplifier.
Speak up, Dave. We can't hear you.
Maybe it's broke.
You're sounding good.
Okay, we got it all glued back together. We got his new headlights in, brighter than ever, and it seems to be functioning. We got the retrofit, the new step start relay in there. Seems to be working just fine, and we're putting the same relay in my amp now. Ran into a little snag. We got to do a little rerouting of some reconditioning, some rewiring. But we're on the right track here, Randy. We're fixing these amps, making ham radio great again. N1SAG.
Do you need a relay, or do you have the relays?
No, got the relays. They're all his is installed. He got relays, and I installed mine today. And I didn't quite get it wired up. We went out to eat. We went to Amici's. I had the best. I think I gotta say, I think I had one of the best filet mignons I ever had. It was a mushroom sauce with polenta And I don't know, what are them little onion things? I don't know what they are, but very good. Excellent. N1SAG.
Chives?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. They were like little flat things. I don't know what they were.
Scallions?
Maybe.
They were good. That's what they were.
Damn good, yes. It was really, really good. I couldn't believe it. The mushroom sauce, oh my God.
Outstanding.
We had omelets. Maureen made a couple of omelets. And it was so funny that I was out in the bar because we got the chickens running all over the place, right? And we haven't had any eggs for a while. And Michelle finally brought over like a dozen or 18 eggs or something. And I was out in the barn where I was looking for little flags to put next to the little things that we were planting, the little bushes. And I looked, there's a cat carrier out there that she keeps out there with hay in it for stray cats that can just go in there and they get warm, right? So I happened to go by and I looked in there and I just caught my eye and I looked in there. There was 12 eggs in there. The chickens have been using that carrier with the hay for a roost, to lay their eggs.
Very good. So you had fresh eggs.
Yeah, we always have fresh eggs, but we haven't had any for a little while because in the wintertime, the chickens slow way down laying. And they're not laying eggs over there, but they're laying them over here. So, yeah, she brought the 12 eggs in, plus the 18 or something that Michelle brought over. So we got plenty of eggs for a while.
Don't let them see you eating them. You'll hurt their little feelings.
I heard you, Carl. What was that, Dave?
Well, I'm just saying, I was just being smart. I said, after you killed the rooster, don't you think the chickens are unhappy?
Well, the big rooster is still there. The Banny rooster, the pain in the ass, he's dead. But the big rooster, George, he's still in charge. And he's way more mellow now, too, that little jerk's not running around.
Oh, sure, he saw you executed the bad guy. He's trying to behave.
Well, that's what I said to Maureen. I would take that little Banny rooster, get a hold of it, and take it right in front of George and knock it in the head with a club, and let him understand this is what two-leggers do when you misbehave.
Right? Yeah, they're just roosters. I mean, Okay, Mark, this is a good question for you. WA1YJE handed me this thing stapled together. It's about SLAC, National Accelerator Laboratories, dated April 12, 2019. SLAC develops novel compact antenna for communicating where radios fail. You know anything about this mystery?
Pre-dawn.
I've heard about it on another, I think on 20 meters, I heard some guys talking about it.
I'm not familiar with what you're talking about.
Well, I know you're computer capable, so maybe just Google that SLAC, Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie, SLAC, National Accelerator Laboratory. That's the heading on this. I don't know how many pages here. 7 pages.
All right.
I can't make sense out of it. Not in my condition. They're saying it's a mechanical antenna, so it's tunable, but the guy's got a laptop, he's out in the field, I don't know. I don't know, maybe they're talking about VLF, I don't know.
Very low.
I don't go much lower than where we are, Toad Harbor Net.
I think we need a VLF night, and like an antique radio night, and then a VLF night.
Is that bad, Mike?
This is.
Bad, Mike. Well, you're back from your mission, I take it, over?
Yes, I'm back from the mission. I went down Tuesday and Worked super hard Wednesday, Tuesday, actually part of Tuesday, Wednesday, and then part of Thursday. Did really well and hired a guy, and so I've got a couple guys down there, and they just finished up the job that I laid out. It was really nice to know that I've got a good guy, a couple good guys working down there. So such a great feeling because I just hate driving down there.
Well, it's nice when you got good people to work with. That's why we like the Toad Harbor net, right, Randy?
That's right.
KB2 VLF
ZVP,
antenna.
right around the bottom.
I got to pay him a fortune, but it's worth it.
It's worth every cent.
You don't mind paying for the best. I always thought that myself, and I'm not unhappy with that.
Oh, talking about the best, K1 DSK?
Hey, Devin, how's everything going back in the old country?
Oh, things are fine. Things are good. I just visited the children last weekend. They are doing really well. They are happy, so we are happy. Back to you.
So that storm left everybody alone, and I'm hoping everybody did all right. Over.
Well, we didn't have much of a problem here. It was just wind and water, nothing much. So we're okay.
That's good. That's good. I'm talking on your old amp, Gary's new amp. We put some new headlights in it and a relay, and things been running. I just plugged it in. Randy said you got to plug that amp in, so we plugged it in. Over.
Wow, it sounds very good. So what did you change? Which relay are you talking about?
That's step start relay. Mine's the same way. Gary got the new relays. They're heavy duty. So I'm put one in mine. So while I'm working on mine, I put his back online here to run it through its paces. It sounds good. It runs good. It hums right along. Over.
Did you change the fan speed? Because I had changed it to the lowest.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, we did up the speed. We brought it right up to max. Over.
And how's the noise with that?
Well, here, listen. That's it.
Not so bad. Not so bad.
Yeah, and the amp's right next to the radio here, right next to the mic. It's like 11 inches away from the corner of the amplifier, the microphone. Over.
Is that amplifier quieter than the one that I sold you?
Be honest with you, might be. Over. That's funny because you put the insulator and all that and the plastic bush screws and nuts and all that. It does sound quieter. I don't know why.
Well, it's because it's not running on the highest of speeds. See, that amp that I had is on kill. It's on the highest speed it has, and that amp that you've got there running is certainly not, because the tone increases, the frequency as the fan increases, the audio sound that comes out of it increases at the higher pitch, and I can hear the higher pitch on my old amp, but I don't hear it near as high on Devin's amp.
Well, we rewired it for high-speed fan, and it's just as high. We checked it between the two of them. I actually have both of them wired in. I can't transmit on both. I can't, switch, but I do have I have a dummy load on mine, so I can switch on and off. And the only difference is right now his headlights are brighter than mine.
Well, you got to change that now.
No, I had enough of that. I had enough of that. He even said, he says, he ordered a bunch of them LEDs, and I ain't got to change them out. Well, you got the cover off yours. I says, no, mine's fine.
Does he have any extra?
Yeah, he bought a bunch of them. I forgot how many he got for $5 or $6. He ordered them, and they're the right ones. All I had to do was I had to egg out those holders, those little plastic holders that are zip tied to the front panel there, and egged them out good, fitted them in, wired them up, all cold solder joints as usual, and they seem to shine just fine.
And what's the voltage on those?
They're spec'd at 12 volts. I forgot how many milliwatts he told me. Milliamps. I don't know what he told me, but they're like they're much brighter than the ones in yours. Much brighter. But I like yours. They're very subtle. They're very nice. Over.
Well, the ones that were in mine are way brighter than the original ones that were in it. Okay, they're the ones, the upgraded ones, like a bluish, more of a bluish hint than the original ones were like the wheat bulbs, the yellowish, dull glow. But I want to know what he bought. I'm looking for something for this amp that I have, the 77. And I don't know what to put in here. I want to retrofit something to go in the top of the meters instead of at the bottom of the meters are really a pain to get to, but the top of the meters I could get to with no sweat.
Why don't you put it in beautiful red? My mother's BMW had red dashboard. Boy, does that look cool.
Randy, you can get these in red. Gary said he had a choice between red and white, and he got the white. And the white is beautiful, but I think the reds would be so... Here, he's coming downstairs now. Hang on.
I think you would have to be halfway retarded to want red meters in your amplifier. I got to tell you, I think that's the dumbest thing I ever heard anybody say.
Yeah, red's a little hard to see in certain lighting conditions.
No, it's not. The Heathkit SB230 had red lights in the meter, and it really looked sharp.
Well, if you want, he's here now. I'll ask him. Hang on.
There's got to be something the matter with you if you want red lights in your meter. You're looking at the eyes of the devil there.
That is a fascinating way to make low frequency off of that little thing.
I love them red lights in that 230.
Yeah, aren't they beautiful?
Oh, yeah.
You're both evil.
And my mother's dash on her car, all the gauges lit up with this real. It's not a phony looking red. It's a beautiful red, but it's a real clean, clear red. Beautiful, look great.
Explain to me what a phony looking red is.
That would be if you take a light bulb. I got two red light bulbs here. One of them is a clear glass light bulb that the glass is red, and the other one's painted red. And there's a big difference in the way they look.
Oh. Good night, Mike. W2MUR signing off.
Good night, Mike.
We will see you hopefully in the morning, W2MUR.
Have a great evening.
Mike, where you going?
I'm having a hard time keeping my eyes open, guys. I'm nodding out.
See you, Mike.
See you, Mike.
Mike, are we going to breakfast tomorrow?
I don't know. Are we?
Well, you owe us breakfast because you missed the last one.
That's right. We did. Well, actually, I'm not going to church tomorrow because I've been away all week. So if you guys want to get to breakfast, I'll meet you somewhere.
Somebody say free breakfast? Good night, Miguel.
Good night, 73s. You all be good boys and girls.
Who is the one that asked me about the slack antenna?
Okay, I guess not a free breakfast.
Oh, boy.
Hey, my pulsar still works perfect, and it took me until now to finally set it, it's on 43 minutes, and I'm not even going to try to change it because it's off until you press the button. It's so hard to set, I don't want to screw around with it.
Hey, hit it with a hammer. Dave N1SAG was asking you about the antenna, Mark.
That is a fascinating way to do this.
It's crazy. I'm going to have to go over and over that to really get an idea of what they're doing there. But Gary's texting you a picture of his headlights now.
Oh God Almighty! The last time I got pictures of headlights, it was really, really something.
Mardi Gras. Dennis, is that you?
Oh my God! Is it you?
That's me.
Anything, David?
And Devin's in there. I'm glad to hear everybody's okay,
hello,
Devin. There's Gary. He's saying hello. Here's Sandy. She wants to say hello.
Hi.
That's my wife, Sandy. She's great.
Sounds like you rehearsed that. Hello, Sandy.
Hello. Hi.
You're looking good tonight, Sandy.
Oh, she's a bombshell, let me tell you.
I don't know where you got her. I'm telling you, she's amazing.
I'll tell you, it wasn't easy, Ray. It wasn't easy. You don't know the dowry.
Well, I'm sure it was well worth it. Does she have a nice sister?
Yes, she's married to Uncle Kenny, the electrician.
Well, hang on a second. Really, what Ray's asking you is her mom still with us?
No, Grace passed. Grace was a hell of a woman, too. She was, and her name, Grace, she was very graceful. She was a very gracious person.
Sorry, Ray, knowing your age.
No, there is no...
What age? Wait a minute.
That's scary.
Sorry, Gary, didn't mean to wake you up.
Here, Gary's going to take over the mic. I'm N1SAG. Here's WA1YJE.
So, Gary, what the hell is your problem? How come you don't have an antenna up yet?
Well, you've been talking to Dave too long.
Well, no, I ask him all the time, how come Gary's not on the air? He's got the rig, he's got the amplifier. Obviously, you got a couple of bucks. I mean, what's going on with the live antenna?
Okay, so the reality is my shack is on the other side of the house, so I'm going to run a feed line out to the other side of the house. But right now I have some chimney work to be done, and where I have the mast for the antenna is going to be right in line with the chimney work where the guys are going to put the scaffold up. So I'm making excuses, but what can I say? You know, I'll never be a true member of the Toad Harbor Net.
Time to call Larry.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, Larry would have a pole someplace else. At least he'd have an antenna up in the time being.
Randy.
Yeah.
Why does Ray sound like crap?
Because you're running a Yaesu?
Negative.
I don't know what to tell you. He sounds like he always sounds.
No.
Ray, come back and announce yourself.
Yeah, okay. This is the world-famous N1, Delta Victor Lima.
It sounds perfect. Sounds like he always does when he sounds perfect.
So how does the Devin Gary amplifier sound at N1SAG shack?
It sounded a lot better a second ago. What was her name that was on there, Sandy?
You're a slick talker there, Randy.
It sounds good. Sounds real good. But he's got way too much audio with you. You talk a lot louder than Dave does.
Yeah, I can tell. I'll back off.
It sounds good, though. It sounds as good as any other amp out there.
Well, good. Is Devin on here tonight?
Oh, yes, I'm here. I'm just sending a text message to Randy.
Hey, Devin, how are you? We've got new lights. I sent a text to Randy with the new LEDs, and we replaced the inrush relay on the amplifier because the contacts were welded, but you're listening to your amp revamped by N1SAG.
Oh, it sounds so good. I want it back.
Okay, it's only $2,400.
Oh, that's it? Oh, that sounds cheap. That's not expensive. Anyway, what LED lights are you talking about on the amp?
I got some 22-degree LEDs. One of them had burned out on the current meter, so I picked them up, and Dave replaced the one on the current meter, and we both looked at it and said, now we have to replace the rest of them too. So it's a lot brighter than what was in there. Dave thought they were blue at first. I contacted Ameritron, and they never used blue LEDs, and they just notified me that they have white LEDs that are a ridiculous price per, but I think I got 20 of these LEDs for about, I don't know, $8 or $10. But Dave likes tinkering, so
yes, you do.
He's done a great job in fixing up the amp and putting in a new relay.
And, oh, that sounds good. What color are those LEDs you're getting?
I'm sorry, say that again, Devin?
Oh, what is the color of LEDs? Are they white?
Yes, they're white, and each of them are 22-degree angle.
Okay, and how is the noise from the fans?
Oh, not objectionable at all.
Oh, sounds good. I'm glad. It sounds very good. Oh, I hope it lasts with you for about 20 years or more.
Well, 20 years I'll be gone, Devin.
Oh, what's a rush?
I like your style. WA1YJE.
So, Gary, I have not received a text from you, and Devin, I responded to your text.
Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah.
Hey, guess what?
Randy, are you on an iPhone?
I'm on an iPhone.
Well, then David has the wrong number because when I texted you, it came back green.
It's area code. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
I sent Sandy a text to let her know I didn't get the text. I didn't get a response from her, so I might as well just give it to you like this. Area code
845-418-0243-0243. Okay, you lost me at 418. 845-418.
0243. 0243.
All right, let me recheck.
I got a horrible problem.
What's your problem, Ray?
My Pulsar watch doesn't fit on my wrist anymore.
Too small?
Too small, yep.
You've been working out.
You're just wasting away. No, the watch is too tight. My wrist is too big.
Oh.
Your wrist?
Yeah, can you believe it? I haven't put that watch on in 30 years. So now I have to go try to find a link somewhere. Anybody got a link for a silver Pulsar? You know, a chrome Pulsar?
Think about that. That watch hasn't been on in, 30 years, and it's still working.
It works perfect. I put 2 new batteries in it. It's a bitch to set because the setting has to be done in sequence. And I remember when I took the book out that the book doesn't really give you the sequence properly. It's really written poorly. So I had to fudge through it, but I finally got it working, and it's right on the money. We'll see how it keeps time. I'm sure it's going to be a hell of a lot better than this Kenwood. This Kenwood's off about 30 seconds in 2 weeks, which is ridiculous, and there's got to be an adjustment in the radio. Now, you know, some people tell me there isn't, but there's got to be. Carl, that's an expert thing for you. Get on the Kenwood net and find out how you adjust the clock in the radio. Mine's running very slow.
I don't think you can. I looked through the manual there once, and I don't think there was anything that you can do unless you could hook it up to the internet, and it keeps time by that.
Well, it's virtually impossible for me to believe that there isn't a time adjustment inside the radio. They may not tell you about it, but there's got to be. So that's what it's about 2 seconds a day slow. It's ridiculous. And when I first got my Pulsar, I was saying, in 1 full year, it was only off 1 second.
Well, right. The old watches, they have quartz crystals, and quartz crystals are very precise for time. In the computers, they go by the processor speed. So I don't know. How do you adjust the speed in there? I haven't seen any way to change in computers the speed. Go ahead.
Well, I just find it hard to believe that it's got a clock and you can't change the speed of the clock. And by the way, my Pulsar, your Pulsar is accurate to within 60 seconds a year. Like I said, mine held 1 second for the whole year. It achieves this accuracy through a quartz crystal oscillating at 32,768 times per second.
Oh, I love this. I still have my Seiko watch, which I got in, 79, and it still runs it. I just love it.
Well, this one still works perfect, so now I have to find, I can't imagine, I'm sure I lost the extra links, but maybe if I really search high and low. It took me, I've been divorced for 13 years, and I finally, by accident, found the key to the locked cabinet down under the stairs. There's like a closet, and I never found the key, and I found it the other day. I was cleaning up, and I picked up something, and there was the key.
Anybody interested in how this slack antenna works?
What kind of antenna?
Yeah, it's developed by the National Institute there for VLF frequencies, very low frequency transmitting antenna. It's about 10 inches long.
Be right back. KB2ZVP.
I just printed out that letter for Dave tonight.
Let's see, ID K1 DSK.
November 1 Whiskey, Charlie Whiskey.
10-3 or more.
KT2D.
Which pulsar do you have, Raymond?
KC3, KXB. Whiskey Alpha 1, Yankee Juliet Echo. No, he's gone.
Well, normal very low frequency antennas have to be thousands and thousands of feet long because the wavelength miles or tens of or hundreds of miles long. Well, what they're doing is they're taking a piece of lithium niobate crystal and they are electrically exciting it just like a crystal oscillates when you put current to it, like a quartz crystal, and it mechanically vibrates at the frequency of VLF frequency, and when it mechanically does that, it creates an electromagnetic wave inside the crystal. It creates an oscillation current in it that emits VLF frequencies, and it's very broad-banded so that they can use up to 100 bits per second information off of it.
English, all I heard was blah, blah, blah.
Oh, so Mark, is that for a specific frequency, or it's a, let's see, can you use on 135 kilohertz band?
Possibly. It didn't give an exact frequency, but it said very low frequency. So I'm thinking somewhere around 10 kilocycles, 5 kilocycles.
Oh, wow. That's about what, 20,000 or 25,000 kilometers. So that's about 16,000 miles wavelength.
Yeah, it might be a little bit higher than that, but it's definitely very compact. It's like 10 inches long. You can take it with you, and it goes through the earth, and it makes transmissions very long. And you don't need a big, huge antenna and lots of equipment and tremendous amounts of power. So it's a rather interesting way to do it.
And what's the efficiency? Do they talk about that?
I was just looking that up. I forget which fellow it was that asked me about the SLAC antenna.
I'm back. KB2ZVP.
Welcome.
Yeah, what's interesting about it, Mark, is they're doing it with mechanical vibrations, at the atom level, and able to get the thing to act like a VLF antenna. I skimmed through it. I didn't have time to read it in detail, and I imagine you can tune it for various frequencies. It's not a broadband antenna, but I don't know. Maybe by varying the excitation you can do that. But pretty amazing.
186 miles, I think.
Yeah, you can probably trim the crystal too to get it, different frequencies and whatnot. But basically, it works the same way that a D104's microphone head works. It's mechanical vibration through the piezoelectric effect creates a voltage that is induced across the crystal that oscillates at that frequency and becomes a radiator.
You should talk to Bruce about this stuff. He does that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I figured out 10 kilohertz, and I think it's 186 miles was the
that
full
should
wavelength.
Be a pressure wave. That should not be electromagnetic wave. How does it convert the signal into electromagnetic wave?
Hey, Devin, I had this Drake DSR-2 receiver back in 1975, and it would receive right down to 0 kilohertz. So a friend of mine said to me one time, hey, take a speaker and hook it to the antenna jack and speak into the speaker and see if you hear anything. And sure enough, you could hear your own voice.
You can hear. My question was more about transmitting with a crystal type mechanism. It's a pressure wave, mechanical, vibration. That should give a pressure wave, not an electromagnetic wave. Oh, on the second topic, I have a beverage antenna here, about beverage on the ground, about 400 feet long. and today I was listening to AM signal. Then I went down to up to 30 kilohertz. I could hear stations and signals up to 30 kilohertz on that antenna.
Cool. See if you can hear 60 kilohertz on your radio. Oh, well, you have the wrong kind of tuner. You'd have to jump the tuner out. But I can get the 60 kilohertz WWV here. Very good.
So 60 kilohertz WWV. Oh, I was getting GPS signals on that VLF frequencies.
I didn't know there was GPS signals down there.
There are quite a few, about 100 kilohertz, I think, or 200 kilohertz. I don't remember. I was just playing with them. I did a search on internet. There are about maybe 50 beacons around the country.
What was Loran? Was Loran around 400 kilohertz?
I
don't remember that
area. But is there? I don't think there's any of that left, is there?
I don't think so. I think they were dismantling them all for GPS. But Devin, what do you hear at 30 kilohertz? You said you heard stations. Were they military or something?
I don't know whether it's a military or submarine. It's just a high-pitch continuous signal, which I try to search. I can't make sense of it. It's just a continuous signal.
Yeah, I got you. So, Ray. Hey, Ray, you there? Guess not.
Okay, before we change the topic, my question about SLAC. How does the antenna work if it's mechanically vibrating piezoelectric effect? How does it become electromagnetic? Go ahead. Anybody, Mark or somebody?
Well, when it vibrates mechanically, it puts stress on the lattice of the type of crystal that it is that generates an electromagnetic wavelength because of currents that are induced in it due to the piezoelectric effect.
Because I did a lot of work with the piezoelectric effect for the last 20 years. We used to use quartz crystal to oscillate and used to study protein behavior by viscoelastic effect. So mechanical effect was viscoelastic, and we were using quartz crystals which are oscillating, but the AC current was supplied. My question is, how does it produce the electromagnetic wave that is transmitted on the VLF frequencies?
That part I do not know. You're going to have to check out the same article that I read. I could probably give a simple explanation, but it's probably not going to be the right one. And the crystal that they're using is a lithium niobate.
Okay, do you have reference to that? I'm going to read that. Tell me where it is. I did a search. It's April 12, 2019 from SLAC develops novel compact antenna for communicating where radios fail. Is that the article?
That is the one, yes. National Laboratories, yes.
Okay, I'll go through it. Thanks.
Yeah, they were a little vague. They didn't give a whole lot of details, but, you know, being a ham as we are, we can kind of put two and two together and figure it out.
So, Mark, the article you looked at, didn't they have a bunch of plots about the vibration and all of that stuff in there?
I went through it briefly. I mean, there was some details given, but wasn't a whole lot given on it. It was just a general overview. I probably could have done some more references and checked out more stuff, but I kind of figured out the way they're doing that. That's a fascinating way to do that. And I'm also finding it very interesting that they're using a lithium niobate. I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah, I know, because there's a lot they could choose from. I saw it at work, but there was other stuff going on, and I didn't send it home. So Monday when I go in, I'll send it out, and I'll print it out and read it, because they had a bunch of plots, and it was pretty detailed. It was almost a technical report. So I'm sure that explains all the stuff that Devin may be asking about.
Yeah,
can you send me the article? My email is good on QRZ.
I didn't do that for a living, so I was just curious of the technology and the science behind it. But I'll let Devin be our resource coordinator for that, and we can probe him.
Okay, let's do that. My email is good on QRZ, and if any articles you find, please send it to me, but I'll do a search and try to get some information.
Okay, yeah, I'll find it and send it to you, Devin, KT2D.
Yeah, and if you could kind of put that into a dummy package for us, Devin, and just bring it down to our level, it'd be great.
Oh, no, don't overestimate what I'm saying. I just use big words. I don't know much about these things.
Well, we don't either, and you were the guy that was involved in that science, so you would know how to put that into regular ham speak. So, yeah, I am curious, though, to kind of get some of the details on that. I wonder if I could order one.
I don't know whether it's commercially available or it's a research stage. So let me go through the articles, and then we'll talk about it maybe tomorrow or some other time.
Yeah, I think it's still in the research stage, WA1YJE.
Okay, then it's way, we have to wait for a long time.
They're only communicating 100 feet at a time right now.
Better than 0 feet.
Oh, it's pretty cool technology, I agree.
Yeah, if you could take an antenna that size and work on those kind of frequencies, I mean, hello. That could be a game changer for a lot of things.
And one WCW at the top.
And 3 or more.
And 1 DVL.
WG2E.
I have a question for you, Bob.
KB2ZVP.
Hi, Randy.
Good to hear you, buddy.
That's good to be here. I have some news within the last couple of days.
You finally get paid for all those checks that you had coming? What are we buying?
Nah, not buying anything. There was in a town east of me, there was an arrest.
Oh.
Guy was making it with a dog and made a video of it and put it on Facebook, and they tracked him down and arrested him.
Oh, my God. Talk about a sick,
you know
what.
Put it on Facebook.
That's what I understand. I just heard it today. I guess it happened a couple of days ago.
He should just be shot.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Why screw around? Bring him to the range.
Either that or have the dog bite him.
I'll tell you, my dog would have bitten him.
Sure, the dog was cute.
Anyway, Bob.
Yes, Ray.
Now, as a CW expert you are, I got a technical CW question. Are you ready?
I don't think I'm an expert. I'll do my best.
When you go down to 60 kilohertz and you listen to WWV, they send CW. It's just strictly CW, but it's very slow CW, very, very slow. Now, when you're down at low frequency, like 60 kilohertz, 30 kilohertz, 17 kilohertz, whatever, even I don't know how high, the CW has to be sent at a very slow speed for some reason. I've never had anybody explain to me why.
Yeah, I'm going back to my study in it, but the faster you spend, the greater the bandwidth. And so I think it's, when you go down to those low frequencies, doesn't your receive bandwidth is limited?
Well, I don't know. I'm using a 500 hertz filter down there with a 500 hertz roofing filter with a 50 hertz wide, band filter, and that WWV at 60 kilohertz comes in beautiful. I mean, it just sounds like it's right there all by itself. This is the only radio I've ever had that could actually hear it like that.
Your data rate is limited by the frequency.
Yeah, but I don't, so if I start to, I just don't know, I know that, the data rate, but the data rate is limited by the frequency because of the bandwidth, all right? The frequency and the bandwidth and the data rate are all interrelated. So when you start sending faster, your bandwidth goes up. And when you're done at those low frequencies, you're limited. And so what I don't know is if Ray's listening to me and I'm sending CW slow at 60 kilohertz, and
then I start speeding up. I wonder what happens. Does it get clipped or something? That's what I just don't know how it manifests itself as going too fast.
Yeah, well, that's I don't know either.
I'll be back. Hot tub's calling.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So Ray, you'll be happy to know I got my lineup over the tree today.
Good job. You get a C- for today's work.
Yeah, and so what I did when I look at a 3/8 wave for 1.93, it's like 181.8 feet, depending on the wire used. So I got 200 feet. The problem is when I go up over the tree and down, I still got a little bit left over on the bottom. I cut about 200 feet. That's what I got. And so when I measured I took my antenna analyzer and measured through it. I get 0 ohms and about a couple of hundred of 0 ohms resistance and a couple of hundred ohms of react. So I don't know what's up there. I gotta see what's going on.
Now wait a second. Nobody move. Give me that whole thing again. You got the wire up over the top of the tree, and you shot it out as far as you can. So you want things to go over the tallest tree and out over another tree and come down far away. And when you pull the wire up, you want the majority of the wire up high, right? Is that what we're trying to do?
Yeah, it's what we're trying to do, but the trees that I got available, I may have to do another shot to get it up higher. I think so. It's up over one. There's about a 30-degree climb up to the tree, and then about a 45-degree climb over the tree after that one coming down. And so with that's about 150 feet. There's still about 50 feet that I got left when I do that.
How high is your antenna?
Okay, wait a second. So here's my thinking on this. If you put up an antenna that's 125 feet tall, a quarter wave, the impedance at the base of that antenna is around 50 ohms. It's between 36 ohms with a big radial ground system and probably 75 ohms with no ground system at all. Now, the 3/8 wave moves the current node about 60 feet up above the ground. And the other thing it does is raise the impedance. A 3/8 wave has a 200 ohm impedance. So I know, and of course a half wave has probably a 2,500 or 3,000 ohm impedance. So I think personally you're better going much longer. I mean, if you could get a half wave up there and then match it correctly, and that's what a lot of people are doing with that 49-to-1 balun, you don't really need a ground system at all, because the half wave antenna doesn't rely on the ground for anything. I don't think a ground system's going to make any difference at all on that. So my thing would be, you probably want an antenna that's 220 feet. I'd have to figure out what a half wave is, like 256. I think a half wave's 256. So you probably want an antenna about 220 feet, about 220 feet long. Probably going to give you an impedance somewhere around 300 or 300 ohms, maybe 350 ohms. And then if you drive it with the open wire feed line, I'm thinking that open wire feed line is going to match the antenna almost perfect.
Yeah, I think you're right. The only thing that got me, so that's the impedance, but I was getting 0 resistance and about 300-400 in the reactance when I measured the impedance on the thing. So right about there, it's just all reactance. That's the only thing that was worrying me.
Well, I'm sure there's probably a way to tune it out, like if you're using a balun or something and that type of stuff. But I think with open wire feed line, I don't think it's going to be an issue. You're just going to have to try it and see if you can tune it and see how that tuner handles it. That tuner's going to be touchy with the length of the feed line feeding it, but I'm pretty sure that tuner will tune that with about any feed line on it. But I would try to get it out somewhere around 225 feet and lay the majority over the tops of the trees, just laying over the tops of the trees, and then they'll just have your 3/8 cord on the other side with a weight hanging there, and you want 200. Try to get 220 feet out. And then I would still put a radial ground. What I would do is just run another wire under the antenna. In other words, wherever the antenna goes, run a couple of wires underneath it the same length as the antenna, and connect the open wire feed line to one half to the antenna and one half to the ground, laying on the ground. And, of course, the other issue is that is not really a balanced antenna system, so I don't know what the hell that's going to do. But here's a good question for Devin. Devin, when you were running that 49-to-1 Ballon, what did you hook the ground side to?
I put a ground rod. The ground side put about less than 2 feet wire and into a ground rod.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't have much faith in a ground rod doing anything at all. So what I would do is I do the antenna like we suggested. Whatever you can do. But try to get the full 192 feet or 96 feet, and preferably 220 feet out, and lay a couple of wires underneath it, right, maybe 10, 15 feet to one side, 10, 15 feet to the other, approximately the same length, and then hook your ground side to one and the other to the other, and it should work. And that wire's got to be kept off the ground. That open wire feed lines can't be laying on the ground. That screws it up.
Yeah, no, I got you. I'll go out and I have a variable capacitor, so I'll run that through and see if it's inductive reactance, which I think it is, because in the article they got rid of the reactance by putting a couple of capacitors on there. And so I can figure out what the capacitance is just by looking at the frequency and the reactance. So, but I have an air variable, so I'll adjust that and see how it comes down. So, yeah, I'll let you know tomorrow night. But you got it up there, so that's good.
You're talking about a half wave end fed?
No, it's what I was shooting for was a 3/8 wave.
Oh, 3/8 wave, still 6 wave. Okay. Yeah.
So, for this band, it looks like with the velocity factor for this frequency, it's 182 feet for a 3/8 wave.
Oh, well, I think it should be a little bit longer than that. It comes if you don't take into consideration the 3% for the jacket, it's 192 feet. But I would try to go longer if you could, because that makes it about 200 ohm impedance, and you're feeding it with 470 ohm lines. So if you can get it a little higher and longer, the longer the better anyway. So just try to, if you can get it longer, get it longer. Even if you have to run it down the other side of the tree, down towards the ground.
Or around the tree.
Ground radios with this?
Yeah, she's going to just run a couple of wires laying on the ground under it.
Helically wound vertical. I got 20 quarter wave or eighth wave radials.
Yeah, hook them all together. I would just lay radials right under the antenna. I think that would probably work better. But you could tie them all, if they're close enough, tie them all together.
Yeah, they are. They're all together.
Yeah, then tie that radial system in and run 2 long radials, at least 1 long radial right under the antenna, but I would probably run 2. Try it without. Just try it with your radial ground system and that, and see what it works like. Leave the other antenna up, because your other antenna is going to be your test antenna.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I may, and if it's, I got to figure out what to do with the other wire that I haven't been able to get up in the antenna, up in the air, so maybe run it along, not on the ground, but, it comes down and then maybe off to the side like an L. I don't know if that's going to muck anything up.
Hey, you got your test antenna, so that's the thing. Just click back and forth, A, B, and that's going to tell you right away if the thing works or not.
Yeah, well, we'll be able to see tomorrow night, I think, so I'll see how it goes. Just wanted to let you know, Ray, the Ray 3/8 wave vertical.
Hey, Randy, are you bringing T-shirts to the thing?
I am.
Well, one of them has to have a few stars on it.
See what I can do. No promises there.
That's for General Bob.
I know what it's for.
Hey, Ray?
Yeah.
I'm listening to 60 kilohertz. 60-meter loop doesn't pick anything. The ground beverage picks beautiful signal. And you're right. Boy, the CW signal is so slow, probably 1 word per second or something like that.
Well, yeah, it's very slow, and I know they do it because of the bandwidth thing, but it's just hard to believe. I'd love to see it faster and see what happens.
And there's also a similar CW on 77.5 kilohertz.
Yeah, I never tuned there to look.
Hey, Randy.
Yes, Tom.
Yeah, what I told you about. Look in the Meadville Tribune, the paper for May 1st. It's in there.
Was it a male dog or a female dog?
Didn't say. But the guy was 52 years old, and it had something to do with him and his girlfriend and the dog.
Right. Well, then they shoot the both of them.
Well, Meadville Tribune for May 1st. It's in the paper.
Hey, Ray.
Yes.
Hey, how's my signal tonight? Any better?
That's about the same it usually is, about 10 over 9.
Tub time.
Okay, that's okay. You're 40 over at my house. You're doing all right. Go ahead, carry on. Hi, Randy.
How you doing, Dick?
Hey, we're doing okay. You get my weird picture?
Did I get what?
Did you get my picture?
I did not, no.
Oh, okay. I sent it with my tablet. I'll probably have to send it with my laptop. I'll try it that way.
Did you send an email or text?
No, just send the pictures to you. To your email address. That's all I did.
Hey, Dennis, are you still here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to tell you, the guy picked up the car yesterday.
Really? Did you get what you wanted, Ray?
Got 9.
Okay, that's fabulous. Now we got all kinds of money, Dennis, we can spend. What should we buy first?
No, I don't know. Hey, Ray, my partner, he passed on the table yesterday.
Oh man, that's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that. What were they doing? I forgot. He was going to have an operation, or was this something emergency, or what?
Yeah, that's from. I don't need to tell you what it's from, but he had.
Wow.
Your audio just went totally away, gone. As soon as you started talking, there was a little noise, and then your audio dropped right out to nothing. So it sounds like a bad mic connection.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. All of a sudden, I looked over at the amp. I got nothing going on. Nobody was home.
Right, well, it's back to perfectly normal right now. Sometimes those mic connectors tell me you have to move the mic connector a little bit or something, but okay, go ahead. Give me that again, because nobody could hear you.
Yeah, I understand.
If you need to take a ride out tomorrow, Dennis, I'll have a tube off.
You know, he didn't make it very far. 61 years old, died on the table yesterday. He was a good egg.
What was the operation for? Can you tell us that?
Oh, they were going to remove his kidney.
Oh, man. Wow. That's pretty odd. Was he in really bad health when they put him on the table?
Yeah. Yeah, he was a little nervous. I talked to him the night before, but anyways, because I always talked about him because he's my partner, but I just want to let you know. Yeah, I'm using the headset, the SM10 tonight, and I guess maybe I don't have it set appropriately.
I thought maybe your tube died.
It sounds fine now. I mean, it sounds fine. The audio just went away while you were talking. So, but everything else, it's working now. Go ahead, keep it up, wise guy.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my tube.
You have 42 tubes now in stock.
Yeah, and I noticed that I got kicked to the curb.
No, you did. What are you talking about? No way, Dennis. You would never get kicked to the curb. I already said, and these guys heard me say, if the tube dies tonight, don't worry. Just drive out tomorrow. I got one here all packaged up for you.
Uh-huh. No, mine works pretty good. I have no issue with it. My Greg Curtis so low, it's scary.
Well, it's a good tube. Don't torture it.
I don't. I want to put it back up in there. I want to be like Randy when I grow up.
When you your grid current, when you're running that, like if you tune that thing to full power, 3,000 watts, what's your grid current?
Maybe 30.
So that's with 100 watts, right?
Yeah, that's pushing it. On a carrier, it would probably take it up to like 175, but in the peak CW mode, it doesn't seem to go very high.
Yeah, but that's not, you're not seeing, the meter can't follow that instantaneous thing. So it's about 4 times usually, somewhere around 4 times to what you're seeing on the CW, at least 3.
Okay, well then even if you put that at 120 mils, it's nowhere near where it's getting pressured.
Yeah, well, anytime you push those tubes up there, you're burning parts up in there that you don't want to burn up.
Yeah, it doesn't do it. Mine lows. I don't push it.
Yeah, you don't want to get over 150. I mean, 150 you're good. This is what they say. This one here is rated for, and 1.5 amps. So it's this is. I'm way below that. I mean, I'm watching the meter now when I'm talking, and I'm hitting it hard, real hard, and it just the meter just flickers, comes up off the peg a little bit.
Yeah, I'm on my peaks. Let's see here. I'm lucky if I'm 5 mils.
Yeah, you got nothing to worry about. But if you need to crank things up and put Ray in his place, don't you worry. I got something right here for you.
No, my antenna works really good, so I don't have to push mine very hard. I just run it like this.
Randy, what's your plate voltage?
I don't know. I have to look. It's what is it, 2,800?
It's got to be higher than that.
No, I don't think so.
He's running CW section. Low tap.
I think those tubes can run about 4,000 volts.
Yeah, I was wrong. It's 3,800, 3,900, something like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because that's why that thing puts out so much power, because they run the plate voltage much higher. A lot of those amps are only running 32, 3,300 volts, and that's under no load. Under a load, they're, probably 20, 27, 2,800.
If he only knew, huh?
I got to get me one of those 3-tube commanders. But you know what would happen, Dennis?
What's that, bud?
If I got a 3-tube commander, then I would need 3 extra tubes. And since the 3-tube commander can put out the same power that Randy's amp put out, I would never ever get another tube.
With 1 tube. What are you going to do when I get the second tube installed?
He's in trouble.
I told you what I would do. You don't listen. I'd install the 3CX 1200s. Run that by John. Just at least run it by him and see what he thinks, because the 3CX 1200 is a much more rugged tube.
Grid dissipation.
Yeah, big deal. It's 1,200 watts, so it's got a total of 2,400 versus 3,000. But it's also got 50 watts of grid dissipation.
Yeah, but just remember, the original tube from this amplifier still puts out 3,000 watts. So, I mean, how much more rugged of a tube do you need?
Well, you don't. But every time you push those tubes up there, you're wrecking them. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to see it. But didn't you prove it to yourself with your 3500Zs? You burned through those like a cheap light bulb.
I got plenty. I'm not too worried about it, Ray.
Well, I'm just telling you, there's no reason to destroy a $1,200 tube just because you want to see a 1 more dB of signal or 2 dB.
So I've just got a text message from N3 Yankee Zulu Fox, and hello, Dave. Everybody say hi to Dave in Pennsylvania.
Hello, David in Pennsylvania.
Hello, David in Pennsylvania. Okay, so what's his shtick? How come he's not talking here?
Hello, Dave in Pennsylvania, K1DSK.
Hello, David in Pennsylvania, Casey Whitby. He's got antenna issues. He can read, but he can't transmit. He's been working 7 days a week, so he hasn't had the time to put up a better antenna, but he can hear us all.
Of course he can.
Hey, Randy.
You.
Have we ever heard back from the little kid there in Pittsburgh?
Nope, not a word. And I sent him a couple text messages, or emails, by the way.
I think Dad might have intervened, huh?
Yeah, bad Mike. He's no good.
You know what they say when you have to watch your kid on the computer.
What do they say?
So you got to watch your kid on a
what do
computer,
they
Randy.
say?
Come on, pay attention.
Who says that?
They do.
Damn radio, not a computer.
Hey, did we miss 20?
Kilo Bravo 2 Zulu Victor Papa.
November 1 Whiskey Charlie Whiskey.
A1 DSK.
WG2E. Randy, which rig are you on tonight?
You tell me.
Not the new one.
Nope.
Okay, very good.
The old one.
The old one.
Yeah, I knew what happened the other night, but I was stubborn and didn't want to believe that I had to resolder a connection. So it was an interface between the Quadra and well, it was like a what do you call it? 20 gauge wire.
You got to get an old 101 now. You've got to get an old 101 and have a new 101 side by each.
Hey, Randy.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
It'd be just for a Ford, just for that thing.
Hey, Randy, I think we need to put up an antenna for Ray.
Yeah, Ray needs an antenna intervention.
7.
Ray's going to start working on his antenna as soon as the rain stops. I'll have all kinds of new parts up here in no time at all.
Hey, Dennis.
Yes, sir?
Dennis, I sent you that just so I don't want to be the heavy. I don't want to be the hefe, you know. I don't want to be the heavy. Would you mind telling Ray what his signal is in Pennsylvania?
S7, and you're 25 plus.
I don't know what to tell you, Ray. I'm just getting this stuff sent to me, I just sent it to Dennis. I didn't want to repeat it. I wanted Dennis to tell you what it said.
Yeah, you know, it makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. But Tom signals down to me, too. Tom used to be 20, 25, almost 30 over 9. He never goes over 10. So I can't imagine what could have happened to this antenna, except that wire. When you gave me that, well, let me see. That wasn't, no, I think
it's your fault, Randy.
It's my wire.
It wasn't wire I bought. I don't get it.
And Ray barely makes that
so low like this. It almost seems like that wire's bad.
If you say it long enough and loud enough, it must be true.
I gave you a bad wire, Ray. I knew it wouldn't last. I was actually surprised that it lasted as long as it did.
Darn you, Randy.
I'm pretty sure the wire that's up there is the stuff I bought. But anyway, I got some new wire going up, so we'll see how that works.
Devin gave me some microscopic clippers, and I reached inside and I clipped one wire here, one wire there, all the way through it.
I've offered him in the last year and a half to go over there and put up an antenna for him.
He ought to take you up on it.
I'm going to do the 4-wire antenna again. I still think that worked better.
But barely S7 in Pennsylvania, that's an issue.
It doesn't make any sense, you know? It really doesn't.
How many watts? He's asking me. He thinks I'm... Hold on a second. He thinks I'm running high power. Just barely 1,500, Dave. Just barely 1,500. Yeah, I know what I got to do.
Hey, Randy, do you know anybody that repairs amplifiers?
Yeah, Ray does.
He's pretty good at it. Hey, Ray.
What kind of amplifier?
It's a Yaesu FL2100B.
Yep, no want anything to do with them. You know why? Because they're just terrible amplifiers. I had 2 of them, and they have all kinds of internal issues with those things. The best thing you could do is just sell that and buy it. Just sell it the way it is and just buy a better amp. Those are just poorly designed right from the factory.
Yeah, tell me about this thing. Each tube's about once every 2 months.
Yeah, well, they oscillate. Believe me, they're terrible amps. Every time I tune mine up, I'd smell something burn, and they're just a lousy amplifier, very poorly designed. And they don't cover 160 anyway. So, just sell the damn thing to wherever you can get to buy it, and buy a real amp.
That's funny.
I have a hell of a time selling anything. I don't know why, but I just can't seem to sell nothing.
Well, nobody's going to want one of those anyway, because they're known to not really be a great amp. Number one, and number two, they don't cover 160. So, I mean, there's a lot of good amps you can buy really cheap. If you can buy one of those ones. What's the one that you bought for Bruce? That's a great amp you can buy for like $350.
That's funny, because I ran one of those things on 20 for over 20 years with the same tubes in it.
Yeah, you can run them on some bands, they're okay, but they're just not a good amp. And here's the problem. The problem is, you're going through tubes, right?
Yeah, I bought it used from a fellow ham, and he had issues with it going through tubes, and he put a new set of tubes in it, and I bought it, and within 2 months they were gone again. I mean, they just get weaker and weaker and croak.
Driving it with 100 watts.
No, that's not the problem. There's two problems with that particular amplifier. Number one is all those tubes that were made in China were defective. They actually stopped making them for a couple years because they just couldn't make a tube that would last very long. So that's the number one problem, and that may be the problem you were having. And the other problem is when you change from the original C-Tron tubes that amp came with to Svetlana's or other tubes, you got to change parts in the amplifier to compensate for the different loading and everything for the particular tubes, and nobody ever does that. So if you had like a Heathkit or one of those, and then you stuck a set of the Svetlana tubes in there, either they don't work at all. I don't think they work at all, or the thing goes crazy and oscillates. They're just, listen, trust me when I tell you, okay? I'm not giving you any BS. They're a very, very unstable, right on the ragged edge of stability amplifier. Just sell the thing for whatever you can get and buy something better.
Yeah, if I can find somebody to buy it. It did work really good, with new tubes for a little while. Well, I mean, I religiously tuned it up every day, and, what tune. I don't know. When the first set went, I thought, oh, hell, man, you've been too long since you had to load anything up. But I haven't had any trouble with this Dentron. I had it for, about a year now, and it's got television sweep tubes in it. But it plays. It's just, it only does 15 to 80. So, the only other thing I got for that old Yaesu.
Oh,
yeah. 101E goes with it.
How many watts does the Dentron sweep tube thing put out?
Oh, it's like 500.
Yeah, and that's pushing the hell out of that. That amplifier's white, isn't it?
Yep. No, it's kind of gray with Dentron GLA 1000, if you want to look them up. They're not very valuable.
No, but I saw one at a swap meet. It was all butchered, though. Somebody butchered the crap out of it. But one of those in brand new condition, really, really nice. It's a cute little amplifier, kind of a neat little spare amp. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you. That one works on 160. So hell, you're better off with that than the Yaesu one. Call up RF Parts. Okay, this is what you got to do. Call up RF Parts and talk to Merritt. Okay, I know it's a funny name, Merritt. ask for him and talk to him about it and tell him the trouble you're having. And he's really an expert. He can tell you anything you need to know. He'll either tell you the original tubes were bad, they were lousy, or you have to put these tubes in, and then they send you a little kit you have to install with them, something like that. But, if you just want to get the thing running, I don't see where you're going to get more than like $350 for that amp tops anyway. I wouldn't give more than $250 for it, but you might get $350 for it with new tubes in it.
Yeah, but if I'm going to spend that much money on new tubes, it's kind of pointless. But the Dentron works perfect. I mean, I use it every day, every day on the Roosternet. Works great. Whatever.
Does he have peepers?
Yeah, they're out there singing.
Oh, that's great, man. I love that.
But it doesn't do 160. I mean, the Dentron only goes to... It doesn't even have 10 meters or 160. It's got 15 to 80, and that's it.
Hey, Doc?
Yes?
Did you ever hear what Saggy says?
Who?
SAG. Transistors. Wave of the future.
Yeah, well, no, but it requires money, and I have none. I mean, I live on $800 a month, man. I'm telling you, it ain't easy.
I hear you.
Well, sell the 2 amps you got and buy a Dentron. What model Dentron was that you got for Bruce?
Clipperton L.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want a Clipperton L. You can buy them for $250 to $350. You shouldn't have to pay more than $350. So you can probably sell the Yaesu in that amp for that much money, and it shouldn't cost you 1 cent to find a Clipperton L.
All righty, I'll look, but I got a buddy of mine that's got a pair of 3500Zs he said I could have. One of them's all the way super duper good, and the other one's just a little bit weak, but for free. If I could find something to plug them into.
Yeah, but anybody that's going to sell a 3500Z amp's going to want a lot more money for it.
What are they worth now?
What, 3500Zs? They're about $425, $430 for a pair.
Oh, okay. I meant the amp. What would my one lung be worth? I got an AL80B.
I don't know. People pay crazy money for an AL80B. They'll pay like $700-800 for one.
Here's a 77 SX that just got sold for $6,000.
Is that the 2-tube or the 1-tube?
That's the 2-tuber.
Hey, I got a Kenwood radio I want to sell. You know anybody wants one? It's a 140S.
You have to put that on the internet for sale. You're not going to take nobody's going to buy a 140S here on this net, but there will be certainly a lot of people on QTH.
What's happening with him?
That, or on the the Facebook CB page or whatever that thing is.
Hey, you know what? I listed something on Craigslist one time, and I got 150 freaking phone calls in all hours of the damn night, and every one of them wanted to trade me some stupid thing, or else, well, it was terrible. And I ain't doing that again.
Well, strangely enough, that's how we sold the BMW through Craigslist.
Hello, WA2JID.
Hey, Bernie.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was getting out. I'm only running about 500 watts.
You're making it to Toad Harbor headquarters. KB2ZVP.
You sound awful flat-toppy to me. What are you doing?
Yeah, I said that a minute ago.
Halfway decent.
Yeah, because he always shoves the audio up higher thinking he's going to have a bigger signal. You're all flat-toppy. Remember, you've done that several times now, and you told me what it was last time.
Was that me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. No, it was all my fault. I pushed the drive up. Instead of the Vox gain is right next to the drive, and I've been using Vox, so I hit the wrong button.
WHUEF and Ray, thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Doc, you should be able to pick up a Veritron AL82 for about $1,500, $1,400.
All in the antenna.
Yeah, there's somebody tuning up.
Hey, Devin, are you out here?
Still here, listening.
In cornmeal, cornmeal, regular cornmeal. Is there any wheat in cornmeal? Not wheat, gluten. Is there gluten in cornmeal?
Cornmeal, I don't think has any gluten. If you are gluten-free, you can eat corn. Let me double check, but that's what I think.
Yeah, that's what I think too, but I was just curious if you knew. I mean, something when I was making eggs every morning in my cornbread, I was mixing half cornmeal and half flour. So something was really screwing me up. I don't know which one it was, but I'm assuming it was the wheat.
Oh, wheat has a lot of gluten. It's very rich in gluten.
Right, but there could be other things too, because I'm reading that Wheat Belly. I don't know, you ever read the book Wheat Belly? It'd be a good thing for you to read because you're smart and you know all about this stuff. But this guy that wrote the book, well, first of all, I'll ask if you read it, because if you read it, then I don't have to tell you.
No, I have not read it. We are very careful about what we eat, especially Catherine. She's up on all these things. I mean, I can eat gluten. It doesn't bother me. But everybody else in the family, they are sensitive to gluten. So she is gluten-free.
Right. Well, you should get that book, Wheat Belly. It's called Wheat Belly. It's by a doctor. Hang on, I got it. William Davis. The Wheat Belly by William Davis. I think you'd probably get a pleasure out of reading that book, because he really outlines what has happened to wheat since Moses. He starts back at Moses, and then he comes forward and shows you what's happened to wheat, and it's just really appalling. If you didn't read the book, you'd never realize. So I mean, you might know because you did that kind of work, but God, the stuff they're doing to wheat is just unbelievable. I'm surprised that they're not in jail.
Well, last 50 years, they have corrupted almost all the food. Corn, a lot of GMO corn. You have to be really careful what you buy, because they use corn for everything. The syrup, the high fructose corn syrup, it's all genetically modified. Soybean is modified. Wheat. You have to be really careful what you eat. Otherwise, a lot of sensitivities, and it's just killing our bodies. Go ahead.
I'll tell you something. I have been cutting the wheat out completely, and I have so much more energy now. I mean, I'm talking so much more energy, and I feel so much better. It's just incredible how much better I feel with cutting just cutting the wheat out of my diet.
Just bread on your dietary?
Just taking wheat out. Anything wheat-based, anything with whatever that crap is. I just can't think of it. What is it?
Gluten.
Yeah, anything. So I'm gluten-free, basically. That's my goal.
Well, I got a little thing I read in the back of the Wheat Belly book, and I thought I made it tonight, and it was fabulous. You make a wrap. You know how the sandwiches they called wraps.
Right.
Well, you take flaxseed. You take flaxseed, oil, coconut oil, flaxseed, egg, and several different spices. and a little bit of water, and you make a dough out of it, and then you flatten it on a glass plate, some kind of a glass plate, and you put it in a microwave oven, and you cook it in the microwave oven for like 3 or 4 minutes, and it makes a wrap, and then you just peel it off, and you wrap your whatever you want to eat in that. And it's, number one, it's delicious, and number two, it has absolutely no bad stuff in it.
Yeah,
not everybody has to stop eating gluten. Gluten is good for our body, but these days, because of GMOs, genetically modified organisms, they have changed gluten, and people are becoming sensitive to it. So anybody who's sensitive, either sensitivity or celiac disease, you have to be very careful not to eat gluten. Best thing to do is, see a naturopath, get a blood test, and see what food you're sensitive to. If you're not sensitive to anything, just eat anything. Doesn't make any difference. So gluten is getting a bad rap because a lot of people are sensitive to it. Go ahead.
I was in a grocery store today, and I was looking around, and I noticed this woman pin through the vegetables really, really carefully, and she was picking the stuff that I would have picked, And finally, I ran into her at the checkout, and I said, "Do you mind if I ask you a quick question?" And she goes, No, go ahead. I said, "I noticed you picking through the vegetables really, really carefully." And I said, "You picked everything that I would pick." And I said, "I'm trying to stay away from anything that has wheat and stuff in it." And I was wondering, are you on some kind of a special diet? And she said, "No, I'm not, but my 12 or 13-year-old daughter has an incredible wheat sensitivity." I said, "Well," and she said she ends up sick as a dog, bent over in pain, laying in bed, if she eats any wheat. And I said, "Well, God, she must have celiac, right?" And she said, "No, she's been tested for it. She doesn't have celiac, but she just can't eat wheat at all." And there's a young girl that can't eat wheat, which shows me that the problem I'm having with wheat. And I ran into another guy on the radio that's had the same problem I had with wheat. It's just like you pointed out, Devin. It's not the gluten, it's not the wheat, it's the genetically modified crap that we're eating.
That's right. Gluten is a type of protein that's in wheat. And once you genetically modify it, our body cannot digest it properly. And that's why we're sensitive. Say, Ray, best thing for you to do is go see a naturopath, get blood test for food sensitivities. Once you can pick out what food are bad for you, you are home free. You will have such a healthy life and a lot of energy. Go ahead.
If you can find somebody like the guy that we're going to get our wheat from, that's got the old heirloom type wheat that he raises, then you could go back to eating wheat with gluten in it, and I don't think you'd have near the problem. I'll tell you something. I've had a good diet my whole life. I eat a lot of fruit. I eat way more fruit and way more vegetables than anybody that I know, and I eat wheat, and I didn't know. I mean, I was thinking about it today. I didn't know how good I could feel anymore. I feel so good. It's like incredible how much better I feel since I've stopped eating this new modern wheat. It really is a significant difference in me. And I don't sleep anymore. It hasn't fixed my sleeping problem. But the thing is, I can stay up until midnight, and then I get up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and all day long I'm not tired during the day.
Well, it's not only wheat. It's a lot of food. Wheat, corn, soybeans, even meat. If you eat beef, pork, or anything else, make sure it's from a local farm. They don't feed them antibiotics and all kind of crap. If it's from a healthy farm, you're in good shape.
Well, I've given up wheat. The only modification it's been is wheat.
They grow wheat behind your house, or are they growing hay?
Yeah, hay.
Okay, because you read that book, or Maureen was reading it. But the old wheat grew 4 feet tall. It was like, I guess it grows into about 4 feet tall, and the new wheat is only 12 inches tall. And that's the genetically modified junk, which has all kinds of oddball stuff involved in it. But they get 10 times the yield. 10, not 2, not 3, not 4. 10 times the yield with this genetically modified wheat. And the argument is that in third world countries like China, the Mideast, and all those countries, those people were all starving to death 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Now they have plenty of wheat, and they can even export it because they're getting a yield 10 times greater. So their argument is simple. It's better to have 10 times the wheat, even if it's not perfect.
Ray, that's a bogus argument.
GMO means
that the starvation or hunger in a lot of countries is not because of lack of food. It's a distribution. What they do is the new wheat genetically modified is sterile. That means you cannot use that wheat to grow for next season. Natural wheat is you can save some wheat and grow it over and over. That means Monsanto has 100% control of what you grow, and you have to buy it from them. It's all financial, nothing else. The genetically modified wheat is very bad for health, good for making a lot of money.
Right, exactly. And who was that? Was that you, Randy?
No, it was not me.
Oh. No, it's Gary, WA1YJ.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard Devin. Anyway, here's the next question. Randy, you made mention of this. Do you know where you can get some of the old-fashioned wheat? You said you did?
Yeah, right down there by Doc. Doc is, Devin, I don't think you've met Doc yet. Doc, hi to Devin, but Doc has got a neighbor down there that's got a farm. It's 1,200 or 1,200 acres, I guess it is, and they grow only natural, old heirloom type products. And he is a good friend of Meg's. They used to date. He's actually the guy I sold his mom the snowblower off my Kubota, the front snowblower. But anyway, Doc has got a neighbor there, and he's got a farm, and we're going to be taking a ride down and getting some of that wheat that he produces.
Oh, that's awesome. Can you give me the name of or address or contact of that farm?
I'll get it for you, Devin. Yes. What was that, Ray?
Does he grind it and turn it into flour?
I'm not sure what his capacity is there. I think he does, but I'm not sure. But we've got a mill here that we can grind it ourselves.
You have a mill at your house?
Yeah, we've had it for a long while.
Oh, okay. Well, when you get some, get me a pound or 5 pounds, I guess. If the guy sells it ground, get me like 5 or 10 pounds and deliver it to the thing, because I want to try cooking. I want to try wheat that hasn't been genetically modified. I'm pretty sure that's the problem, because all of a sudden I'm running into all these other people that have the same problem, and there was no such thing as this back 40, 50 years ago.
Are you going to say, will you please bring me some?
Will you please pick me up some wheat, which I will be glad to pay you double for?
Oh, yeah, 1,000 pounds on its way.
We'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Oh, boy.
Nice to meet you, WHWES. And Randy, when you get down this way, make sure you stop and see me.
Oh, I will for sure. I'll let you know when we're going to come down that way.
Hello, Doc. Good evening. This is Devin, K1DSK. Could you give me a call sign again, please?
It's Whiskey Alpha 2 Easy Sugar. Oh, Echo Sierra.
All right, thank you.
Or Eagle Eye Smurf.
Good night, Tootie.
Take care, Randy.
Sleep well, pal.
He's going to bed real early tonight, and he's going to sleep well and then get up real early at the crack of dawn to finish that antenna, right?
And
That's the plan.
We'll be on tomorrow morning around 7, 8 o'clock here. So whoever's up at 7 or 8 o'clock, make sure you check into the Sunday morning edition of the World Famous Toad Harbor Net.
Oh, I'll be there tomorrow because my wife is away at the opera. She's staying with her mom, so I'm free. I'm the king of the house today.
Very nice. So anyway, Doc is he's running a 7600 no amp and a really good antenna. How do you hear him over there, Devin?
Doc, give me one more transmission.
All righty. Yeah, it's an ICOM 7600 barefoot.
Well, you are 15 to 20 over here in Connecticut, Ashford, Connecticut. Good signal.
Oh, sweet.
So, Doc, you have to understand, Devin is not a country boy. Doc, just key your microphone. Devin, can you identify what the background noise is?
Oh, it sounds like my backyard. I live in the country here. Those peepers, oh my God, they're so loud. Sounds good.
Okay.
I love it.
Just want to see if you'd pass the test.
They sing me to sleep every night.
You should come visit us sometime, and you'll see real country. Northeastern Connecticut, there are very few people, a lot of trees and wildlife here.
Yeah, it's cold enough in this state.
I want to know when we're all moving somewhere else.
Why would you want to move?
I love this place.
Aren't the taxes crazy down in Connecticut?
Well, I feel as a good citizen, I should pay my share. If I want government to do something, I should pay. If nobody pays taxes, unfair taxes, I agree. But fair taxes, I want to pay my share. Well, it's okay.
But you got 51% of the people in this country not paying taxes.
Well, that's a problem, you know. If people don't pay, it's going to be a problem. You know, we expect the government to do everything, and just depend on them, and we don't want to pay. That's not a fair. That can't last for long. Everybody, there should be no exemption. Even when you make a little bit of money or more money, everybody should pay their fair share.
Hey, Devin, are you German?
No, by there are many people who mistake me for German. I grew up in India. When I was 24, I moved to the States in 1976. My accent has been corrupted. It's not Indian, it's not American, I don't know, it's all hodgepodge.
I didn't mean any offense. I worked for one for most of my life, off and on, from the time I was 15 until he passed away here a couple years back. German, great guy, one of my greatest friends and mentors.
Oh, yeah. I have a lot of friends. I've been to Germany probably 20, 30 times. Very good friends. A family from Germany. Their daughter lived with us for 1 year, school exchange, study abroad. And then they liked it so much. Their son also came, stayed with us. And we are lifelong, very good friends. We visit each other. They came to my son's wedding. Very good place.
Alrighty. Well, your accent reminded me of Carl, so.
Well, it's very interesting. Depending on who I talk to, people mistake my accent from Germany to Northern Europe to Eastern Europe to South America to Africa. Very few people. Well, it doesn't sound Indian either. There's some traces of Indian accent. It's all confused accent.
Are you running clear signal now?
Pure signal on the radio, not on the amp. I have the cable here. I'm going to connect it one of these days.
Okay, just checking because I went up to 33 and I can knock you right down to nothing. So I was just wondering.
My transmit bandwidth should be about 3.6 or something.
Yeah, but if I go up to 33 and I cut back with my filter, I can get rid of you completely, which is very unusual.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Well, the radio itself has a pure signal built in, which I started using about a month ago. And the amplifier has, it's an amazing amplifier. If you use it properly, it's lasts you forever. and there's no distortion or hardly any distortion.
Yeah, have they made any improvements since you bought that one?
There are some mods. We have to change the SWR bridge for some linearity. The software upgrade, I just upgraded 2 days ago, which has better catch control and remote control. Some minor changes. They've been upgrading it, both hardware and software-wise. So we just have to put some mods, some SMD. So I'm practicing SMD soldering these days with a microscope and those tiny, tiny, tiny parts.
Oh, okay, very good. So, Randy, in the back of your Wheat Belly book, look up that when you start getting into the recipe section, it's 4 pages in, and you can make yourself a nice wrap, and it has no wheat of any kind in it.
I'll check into that. We were looking at some different recipes. We were looking at some different recipes to make for tomorrow anyway. And the thing is too, I got to tell you, it's and I haven't changed my diet that much. I eat the same 4 or 5 oranges and apples and grapes and on and on and on every single day, but I don't eat the wheat. And I don't know how much weight I've lost, but I know I've lost weight, significant, like 8 or 10 pounds. And I've only stopped eating wheat, 3 or 4 weeks ago. So that wheat is really tearing you up.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to stay away as far away from it as I can. And my one thing that I really miss is that you don't have any bread. But flaxseed is very, very good for you, number one. And number two is there's your bread back again. You can make it a bit thicker. If you spread it real thin, you have a wrap. If you made it a little thicker, you have almost like a slice of bread. It's pretty cool.
Hey, listen, I'm Italian. Sausage or peppers don't have any gluten.
Well, hold on. I eat bread. I eat bread, gluten-free bread, no HMO. I got a phone call. Be back in a minute. KB2ZVP.
And WCW.
I think you were starting to crack up again there.
K1DSK.
WA1YJE/N1SAG.
W2KRY. Hey, Devin.
Hey, hello. How you doing, Randy?
Good. How about you? Have you heard the latest new software update for the Clear Speech?
For the amplifier?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did that 2 days ago. Let's see, 55.2.250. I made some SD cards. I was having some problem with that because it was the wrong file. But I updated yesterday. It sounds very good.
No, the latest one actually removes accents.
Oh, that one. No. That you sound like everybody else. I want to keep that accent. Nope. No way, sir. I want my money back.
All right, then.
Hey, Randy, how do you copy? How's my signal? 1, 2, 3, 4, K1DSK?
The good Randy up here in Syracuse is copying you 20 over in Liverpool, New York. How about me?
You are also about 20 over here in Connecticut.
All right, fair enough then.
I mean, there's some QSB, just varies 15 to 20 over, but very good copy, much above the static crashes.
Yeah, you've got that audio dialed in. You can ride way on top of static and the noise crashes as they call them. So excellent copy here.
Well, I love this radio, the Anon 7000. It has just probably the best receiver. It has so many functions to get rid of background noise, static crashes. It has a spectral noise blanker. which has static crashes out, noise reduction. So I can pick really, really weak stations here. And it's a infinite bandwidth. You can go from maybe 5 kilohertz to about 600 hertz continuously.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
And the audio chain, it's like about 8 or 9 step audio chain. I'm discovering new things every day. It's a really, really awesome experimental radio.
And Randy, if the radio breaks, you can always use the box to put shoes in.
Is there really that much room inside of it?
No, but they look like a shoe box. I mean, all it is a square box. There's no controls on the box at all.
And 10 inches deep, very light. It's just a box with 2 or 3 plugs and a switch. Take 4 antennas in the back, receive antenna, and a transverter.
KA3SBK.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris, you never responded to my email, K1DSK.
I didn't see it.
Oh my, check your junk box. Because I was there in Johnstown, Germantown, 10 miles from your home.
I didn't see it, I'm sorry.
Well, next time, okay, I sent you an email, but send me your email. Send me an email or my QRZ email. Give me your phone number, and I'll send you my phone number. So next time, we don't have to depend on emails.
I will send you. Hello, Ray, and everybody in there.
Who's this?
KA3SBK.
Oh, okay. Wow, you're way stronger than you were.
All right, how's everything doing then? I hear Randy in there?
He is, but he's on the phone.
Okay.
Oh, he said good, Randy.
Good, Randy. Copy? Yeah, I guess not.
Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm gonna make some herbal tea.
Randy.
On the phone.
Oh, Randy, get off the phone. N1SAG.
How you doing, Dave? K3SBK.
Chris, how are you down there in Maryland?
I'm good. Everything's just as peachy as it could be.
Okay, that's good. Well, we're just starting to get spring, huh, Ray? We're just starting to get leaves on the trees here, so I know you guys are already picking pears, but we got problems with spring coming up here. It's slow to get here.
Oh, yeah, I got stuff planted in the garden, got the tomatoes in, and the mowing grass, and the leaves are there, and I already have these helicopters coming off the trees and getting on everything.
Well, I did mow my lawn for the first time last week. We had a sunny day. It's been just raining up here, huh, Ray?
Rain, 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 rain. That's all it does.
Amazing.
So I'm back, KB2ZVP.
Me too, N1WCW.
Dennis.
Hello, Randy, K3SBK.
How was the tub?
The hot tub?
Yeah. Oh, Chris, I'm sorry. I was thinking you were Tom. I just had a brain fart. Sorry. How you doing, Chris?
Good. Just thought I'd hop in here and say hello to everybody.
Once in a while, he sounds like Tom.
Right.
We miss you on 60.
Who?
The Klan, 6:30.
Me, and when I say gee, they miss me. I haven't been there in so long, and it's always 6:30. It seems like I'm never around at 6:30. Over.
Oh well, that's the way it goes. Randy, you got to hop in there sometime too.
I will. I will. I'll try.
I'm not gonna twist your arm.
Well, I've got to get the antenna back on the truck. I'll probably get that. I actually may even get that back on tomorrow, and then I'll be on. Cause I'm on the road at 6:30 often. Out of work.
You work a lot.
I work just enough.
It probably can work even more that you're getting rid of that gluten in your diet.
The gluten is gone.
Oh, now you can work to 7.
That Barilla pasta, that does not go down well with me. Even though it doesn't have gluten in it, it still makes you feel very lethargic.
I didn't have that problem, but I didn't eat very much of it. I cut the portion way down too, so maybe just was too much portion.
Yeah, probably, but it's a 10-ounce box, and it took me three sittings to finish it, so I wasn't really eating a lot either.
You know what I found, Ray? If you feel hungry, that's a good thing. Trouble with me is I feel hungry, I start eating. But if you can maintain that in between meals and even after your meal, but it's all about, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I'm saying. You can't want to eat. You have to have discipline. Over.
Yeah, well, the less wheat you eat, the better, the less you're hungry either. Also, that's in that book. If you just go on a wheat-free diet, you're automatically going to consume about 400 calories a day less.
Yeah, you're right about that. I'll tell you, I took a piece of bread and soaked up that mushroom sauce tonight. That was great.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what. Because number one, the bread's got tons of gluten in it, and if you thicken the gravy with flour, you're double screwed. So when you thicken your gravy, use cornstarch.
Ray, this fillet was like, I'm telling you, it was unbelievable. It was one of the best fillets I think I ever had.
Well, I bought 2 of them today up at the grocery store for $18. So I hope they're good. They're grass-fed, the good beef there. I always have a mental block about it. What is it? You know what I'm talking about. The grass-fed, good, top of the end beef. So I'm gonna have one of those tomorrow.
Black Angus.
Black Angus, yes. Black Angus grain-fed.
Black Angus, yeah. No, this was on polenta. Mushrooms with beautiful mushroom sauce. And on polenta with like little onions or something.
Has she been drinking?
No, not here, no.
Okay. You got to have I'll give you the recipe for my world-famous polenta and chicken. All you guys blew it. It's a winter dish. You got to have polenta and chicken. It's called Hunter's Chicken. It is just fabulous.
My Aunt Elsie used to make that when I was little. The big tray of polenta was about an inch and a half thick in a big, like glass pan or something. I don't know. They baked it. And then they had the chicken with the sauce. Oh, God, yeah, I remember all that.
Yeah, with Marsala wine. The chicken, you cook it with Marsala wine, various spices, parsley, mushrooms, and you throw some tomato sauce. I like it, tinted bread with tomato sauce, and you cook that for an hour or so until it's nice and cooked, and then you put that over the polenta. Oh my God, is that good?
Yeah, well, I was little, and I can still remember. I was a kid. I don't know, about 8, 10 years old, to maybe 12. I don't know. Last time, I could just remember that. Oh, so good. That's what this reminded me of tonight. This fillet was on the polenta, like a slab of polenta. Not thick. It was about, half inch or 3/4 of an inch of it. But then they had the mushroom sauce and some flat little onions or something. And tomatoes. Oh, so good.
So, Kenny, are you here? Hello, Kenny? Randy, are you here?
Mechanic. I'm here. Who are you calling?
Kenny was in here. He came in earlier, real early while the sun was still up, and then he was just in here 3 or 4 minutes ago looking for you.
Kenny?
Yeah, that Kenny. VW Kenny.
I did not hear him.
Well, he called you, but I told him you were on the phone.
Oh, okay. Hi, Kenny. Are you there? I don't hear him.
Oh, you would have heard he was coming in pretty good. He'd never fixed his amplifier, so his amplifier's still apart, but he was coming in good now.
What'd you say to him? Did you talk for a while?
Yeah, I said hello.
Good night, everybody.
Good evening, gentlemen from Michigan, Norway, Alpha Zulu.
How you doing, Walt? And good night, Dick.
Good night, Randy.
Good night, Dick, and good evening, Randy and Ray. Good evening, guys. Both signals great.
Anyway, I'm going to bed. I will see you guys later. N1 DBL.
Okay, you up in the morning?
Yeah, I'm old. 10:15 is old, late enough for me.
No, I'm just kidding, because I'm never up this early. Or, excuse me, up this late.
I think you're tired more than the rest of us. And I'm pooped out, too. I've had a long, hard day. So you kids have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. We'll be seeing you guys tomorrow morning around 7:30 or something like that on the daylight edition of the world famous Toad Harbor Net, KB2ZVP.
Hey, and by the way, I got a gray today, finally. Yeah, first one in, 3-4 months.
I got a red yesterday.
I'll keep up the good work. Okay, 730 N1 DBL.
Good night, Raymond.
Wait until he turned his amplifier off.
Hey, Ray, good night. K1DSK.
Good night, Ray, KA3SPK.
Good night, Ray. It is easy.
Night, Raymond. K1 Adam, Henry Adam.
Hey, Randy, you are going to sleep too?
Yeah, I'm going to be checking out. Actually, can I call you? Yeah, I can call you, right? You're alone.
You call me anytime before midnight.
I'm going to call you before 10:20.
Sounds good.
KB2ZVP. Be back. Well, I may be back. I'm not sure. Good night, Gary, and good night, Dave, and good night, Sandy.
About 3 weeks ago,
she's been texting. She's so cute. And then also, of course, everybody else, Devin and
the room is $299.
The other Dave.
And I said, we had already made reservations.
And then who else is in here? Tom.
Then I went on the website online. I made the reservation, and it was $209. So I don't know if they need to be told something.
And
they might be asking for the wrong price. Go ahead.
WA1YJ N1SHG. Good night, Randy. Thanks.
Soon have changed my name to Peepers, I guess.
Yep, 73 N1WCW.
17, Randy. It is.
Night.
Oh my God, everything went quiet. Who else is here?
K3SPK still here.
Hey, hello, Chris. K3STK. Oh, my phone is ringing, so I'll be back.
Yep, that should be Randy.
WA1YJ here. It's also Devin.
He's going to queue for it.
KT1YJE.
He took a call, sir.
That's right, sorry. I forgot. Radio, WA1YJE. Anybody here?
KH3SJK, how you doing?
I'm doing well. So far, so good. How are you tonight?
Yeah, everything's good here. Just sort of hanging out. I guess everybody's cutting out. I got in here late.
Yeah, I've been reading the log, as they say, or copying the whatever. I'm at N1SAG station running an amp that I got from Devon, K1SD DSK, and we're just kind of hanging out and listening to what's going on.
Okay, it must be the AL82. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't get your call.
Whiskey Alpha 1, Yankee Juliet Echo.
All right, Whiskey Alpha 1, Yankee Juliet Echo. Name on the send is Chris.
Hi, Chris. Name here is Gary. We're just kind of reading what's going on and enjoying way too many adult beverages.
There you go. Sounds like a winner. I'm just sort of hanging out here, logging stuff in QRZ. I made a bunch of contacts on 20 meters, trying to get them logged in.
You do 20 a lot?
Yeah, one that's decent.
A great band. I used to commute with a guy who did 20 meters at between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. before I picked him up, and did a lot of DX all over the world. I'm trying to think of his name right now, or his call right now. K1GN, I think, but he's out of Connecticut also.
Oh, okay. Well, I was, they had a contest on 20 meters, and the band opened up to Europe and some decent stations. So I said, well, I guess now's a good time to pick off some of these DX stations while they're in there doing contesting.
Yeah, I used to work stations in the morning before I picked them up from work. A lot of European stations, do gray line stuff. 20 meters. He had a 4-element quad, about 120 feet on a tower behind his house. Was quite successful, DX-wise.
Oh, nice. I think the last time I worked stuff into mobile was probably when I was doing, it was probably about 12 years ago. I did a lot of HF into mobile, but 12 or it might have been more than that. I think it might have been about 14 years ago. And it was different then. The band was open. The conditions were great. All the bands were hopping. 10 meters is like absolutely crazy. It was like 24/7 open, and it's just, I think it might have been more than 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. But I sort of got into VHF and UHF into mobile, and I sort of got away from HF. When I was doing HF into mobile, it was great. 10 meters, 100 watts. I could work anywhere I wanted to, all day long, night, didn't matter, morning, afternoon, lunch, it didn't matter.
Yeah, the bands were open then. 20 meter dies, like 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock Eastern time. In the old days, 10 meters was very active, 6 meters very active, but, it'll pick up again. You just have to be active and vigilant, I guess.
I had no idea what you guys are talking about. I got my license 3 years ago, and everybody's complaining things are bad. I haven't seen anything bad so far. I haven't seen anything good either. Go ahead.
And just sort of disappeared again. So I think it might have been more 4 months ago. But I made quite a few contacts while it was open, and it was good. Had a lot of fun. Not like it used to be, but, I made some contacts at least.
WA1YGA. Devin, you're exceptional. You have a zest for ham radio and energy for putting up antennas, and so if you were licensed 3 years ago, you have no idea of the previous sunspot cycles and what the propagation was, but I'm impressed with your enthusiasm. Over.
Well, I used to listen to shortwave radio a long time ago. Actually, all my life I listened to that. And I was familiar with cycles, but getting licensed 3 years ago, just, keep making antennas. I have space here, and now I have time. It's just so much fun building antennas and testing them A to B. I have so many projects. I'm doing SMDs right now. I can't wait till cycle comes up. I don't know how good the cycle will be this time. People say in 60s and 80s, they were really, really good cycles. Go ahead.
Well, there's been very, very good cycles before this, but I think we're in the future coming up on the next solar cycle. We should see a lot of activity. You have to roll with the environment, I guess, and this is not a bad time to get into amateur radio.
It's really awesome because a couple of weeks ago I was talking to a station in Italy, Italian station, and we both had like 10 over S9. Then I said, okay, let me turn down to 100 watts. He still had a very good report. I went down to 5 watts. He was copying me about 5.8. I went to 1 watt. He has 5.5 report. I went to half a watt, and he was still copying me 5.4. Band was very quiet, and then I asked him to turn his power down. he was 5 watts, and we still could communicate. So things, I guess, depend on the antenna and the band if it's quiet and the things are happening. Sometimes you get some openings and it works. Go ahead.
Devin, was this on 20 meters?
Yes, it's on 20 meters.
Well, that's awesome. What time of day?
That was evening, I think around between 5 and 6 o'clock. 5 and 6 o'clock here. It was, I think, around midnight in Italy.
Okay, interesting, because my friend has always been lucky at, dawn here, gray line propagation. Go ahead.
Since I retired, before that I used to wake up at 5:30. Now I wake up at 7:30. Morning it doesn't work for me, but I can work in the evenings. Daytime also, sometimes, you have openings. Recently I talked to a station in Kazakhstan, Latvia, and there was a station in Turkey, I think. So things open up once in a while.
Well, it's interesting. I've never looked at 20 in the evening because I always thought it was dead.
Well, about 3 days ago, I talked to a station in Australia. After 10 p.m. on 20 meters, the Pacific stations open up. And you do get some Australian stations. And daytime around 2 o'clock or so, afternoon. On 17 meters, I get Hawaii very easily. Some stations come up from there. So there are openings, It's not all that bad. I monitor the beacons, the international beacons. That tells me if there's something open or not. Go ahead.
Actually, the bands have been dropping since the late 1950s.
Well, if you look at the overall cycle, yes, the peak of the cycle has been going down since 50s, but what they are predicting is that's the end of low part, and future cycles will keep improving. So it's part of a longer, about 100 or 150 year cycle that goes up and down. And the 11-year cycle is part of that. So I don't know if I'll see any more cycles, probably next cycle, and if I'm lucky, maybe one more. I'll never find out about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, we need to take advantage of the low bands now, though, because propagation is good on the low frequencies and the low spots of the cycle.
Oh yeah, the 40, 80, and 160, they've been awesome. 40 meter daytime slows down, but it's pretty good in the evenings and mornings. If you are up around 6 o'clock, all the Pacific stations, the New Zealand, Australia, and Pacific Islands, they come in. So 40 meter has been very, very good, and so is 80 meters. Go ahead.
Yeah, very good, Devin. I heard you. I just jumped in here. KC2UT in central New York.
Oh, I'm sorry. Give me your call sign again.
KC2 United Tango.
Your name, please?
Oh, name is Jerry. Name is Jerry, and I recognize your voice. But I grew up listening to shortwave radio a long time ago, and was really good in the late 1960s and in the late 1970s, and the 80s weren't too bad. But the sunspot peak is just kind of, there's not much of a peak anymore. There's somewhat of a peak, but boy, it sure isn't what it used to be.
Hello, Jerry.
Yeah. There's a gradual decline over the years. Last 70 years the peak has been coming down lower and lower. But, you got to play with what you have. I don't know any better on the ham radio, so I'm with what we have.
Well, we're lucky for what we get today, that's for sure, too. And get up there on Oneida Lake.
How are you? KB2ZVP, nice to hear you.
Good to hear you, Rich. KC2UT. And we like 160 though, other than the static crashes. But it's been great. I've been emphasizing on the lower frequencies, but I spin the dial up on 15 and 10 meters, and even when it's supposed to be really, really good, it's not too good. hoping that field day. I think field day, in the end of June there and stuff, 10 meters might open up, and a lot of stations will be operating. We'll find the bands alive. But it's nothing I remember, nothing like I remember in the late 1960s and 70s, and even in the late 80s, the bands were wide open. But, boy, I haven't seen that in a long time now.
I still find a lot of DX on 17 meters, though. I go up there and listen on 20 and listen on 17. It's not as often as it used to be, and there's not the huge pileups. But the good guys are still being heard, and the good guys can be heard. It just to me, it's more fun because it presents a bit more of a challenge. Back when I was a kid, when I was 14 or 15 years old, I had a CB, and I was a big. I was a big, crazy, just a radio guy. But, and I would work the world with my big antenna and all that stuff. Then I would sit my bicycle out by the pool, and I would put a 3-foot antenna or a 4-foot fiberglass antenna on the back of the bike with my Pierce Simpson 23-channel Superlinks, and I'd hear somebody in Europe, and I'd call them, and they'd come right back to me. And then I got a sideband rig, and then I would be on sideband, and then I'd start working people all over the place. And then I was doing what Devin was talking about doing. I was turning the power down, getting a bit of a challenge because it was just too easy. So when the bands are good, it's easy to work anywhere in the world. When the bands are not good, that's when the challenge is presented to you. And whether or not you can work the DX when the band is poor, that separates the good guys from the bad guys. And when I would work, if you look at my log, you see all this DX that I've worked. That's always like, if you look at the times, it was like the weird times. I was working DX at the gray line, either early in the morning before the DX was rolling to us here in stateside, or late at night when the DX is gone from stateside. And I'd be working those guys at that time because that would always be my challenge. My personal challenge was not to work the DX when it was easy. It was to work the DX when it's hard. And that separates the good guys, I think, from the bad guys, or from the regular guys. I shouldn't say bad guys, but the good guys from the regular guys. And that's when I liked doing it. That's what that was my. I don't care where I was working. I was just wanting to work somebody that was hard to work. That's kind of my philosophy. Anyway, KB2ZVP.
WA1YJE.
K1DSK.
KC2UT. Back at late 80s, 1990, something like that, when the peak was back then, I had a 15-watt mobile. What was it, NCG? It was a 15-watt mobile. And I had it on 15 meters with a full-size ham stick, an 8-foot ham stick. And it worked pretty good. I had it well grounded to my old Caprice station wagon there. It was a good antenna. I worked 115 countries mobile on 15 meters there in about 2 years. And I haven't seen any conditions like that since. But you're right. You do what you can do with what you can do. Band conditions permitting, but jeepers, we do miss those conditions like that. Jeepers, they used to sometimes that the HF kind of conditions would get up to 6 meters. I can remember when that Gulf War started. I could hear some of the tank position reports there up on 32 megahertz and stuff. But you're right. We do what you got to do. But the low frequencies, and this is where we are these days. They sure are nice, and they work really well, except for the static crashes now. But yeah, it's the hobby's interesting. It's a very dynamic thing. It's like fishing. You never know what you're going to catch next. KC2UT, and I'm just south of Syracuse.
Yeah, you're just on the road from where I work, right at Barnes and Cohn. So, and you're I don't think you're probably not 25 miles from me.
Yeah, I'm just running barefoot right now.
Oh, you know what? You are. Yeah, you're more than 25 because I'm like 28 miles from, or 25 or 28 miles north of the plant. So, and you're south of that. So yeah, you may be 30 miles from me.
Yeah, Randy. You're about 6 miles north of my in-laws.
Where they live?
They're on Long Point.
Okay.
But the band's pretty quiet.
Oh, I can make it noisier.
Yes, it's a quiet night. We've had some big storms coming in the last couple of days. We've had a few nights that was pretty noisy, but this is very quiet as compared to what it'll be in June, July, and August. Hey, Walt.
Yeah, I was just going to say you were talking about a couple of different guys. The frequency you're talking about running Mobile and stuff. I ran an Atlas 210X in the Mobile. They had one of those drop-in things that you just slip the radio in, everything plugs in at the same time. There's none of this crap. Just easy in, easy out, so you could take it in your locker or put it away when you were at work or whatever. I think I worked 93 countries with that Mobile, just on 10, 15, and 20 with 100 watts, on the back of an old Ford Ranchero wagon.
Yeah, it just goes to show you how easy it was, right? When the bands were good. I mean, back then you could work. Like I said, I was using a 4-watt CB radio, and I've got boxes of QSL cards that were from people all over the world. I've got cards from Mongolia from when I was talking to. Where are those? I've got those cards in here. Yeah, they're right in here. I've got cards from Mongolia when I was a CBer with a 4-watt radio and a 4-foot antenna. You know, so it lost its appeal to me to work the DX because it was so easy. But of course, it was a different type of a DX, I guess, the different areas that you don't hear nowadays. But I just, I wanted a challenge. I got to the point where running 4 watts was too easy. We had to cut the power down to 1 watt, half a watt, that kind of stuff.
Hey, Randy.
Yeah, Randy.
Show me a QSL card from Mongolia today, and I'll be impressed.
Oh, you will you?
I will.
Oh, you know I will. You guys, I was just challenged. I was just challenged. And I have my box. I just need to get off my chair, but I'll be back. KB2ZVP.
What are you going to show us, Randy? What are you going to show us?
Hey, Walt, it's the good Randy, W2KRY. How you doing out there?
Another Randy. Give me the call again a little bit slower. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's the good Randy. Whiskey 2 Kilo Romeo Yankee.
Okay, Whiskey 2, Whiskey Romeo Yankee, the good Randy. Okay, I got that written down. Now I'll remember that. That's the one we give the big signals reports for. And the other Randy, we cut it down by 20 dB, give them a lesser signal. Is that what we're trying to do?
No, the bad Randy's all interested in good signals. He's got to be the king. I could care less as long as I'm having a good time, Walt. It's Whiskey 2 Kilo Romeo Yankee, KRY, W2KRY. All the best.
Okay, now I've got it corrected. W2 Kilowatt Radio Uniform, KRY. The good Randy, I've got it down on paper now. I won't forget it again.
What's the weather doing out your direction?
We just got the first day of sunshine since I don't know when. Sounds like a country song to me, but no, we've had rain here over 3 inches in this area. The river is pretty much flooded. The island's pretty much covered. The creek is pretty much over the banks, and the field's pretty wet. And this is the first day of dry out. Now we've got 4 more days of rain coming starting Monday. So it doesn't look good on this end for dry conditions, Art.
Well, that's most unfortunate. I understand we're a little wet here, but not quite that wet. Goodness gracious, that's a little too much.
Well, it's worse, even worse out west, Iowa, and I think Nebraska showed they're still having floodings going on out there, so much worse than what we're having here.
And by the way, Walt, I know I can trust you, just from what you were just talking about. You know how?
How's that going to be, buddy? How's that going to be?
Well, you said it properly. You said crick, and not some other C word.
There you go. Yeah, okay.
You don't happen to say pop, too, as well, do you?
What's that word they say all the time at the border? No comprende? No comprende? No.
Yeah, all these people here in New York call Coke and ginger ale and such. They call it soda, which is nonsense. It's pop, for crying out loud.
Amen. Yeah, and don't put a tax on it either.
Oh, they got to tax everything up here.
Everything but your undershirt, buddy, they're let them next.
That's okay. I keep getting smaller, so it's no problem.
We had a change in midterms here in Michigan, and boy, they're already into your pocket, raising everything's going up. She wants to put a 45-cent tax on the fuel over a 20-month period to fix the damn roads, as she says. It hasn't been fixed for years, even though they've had the taxes and they've put them in place to use them. For some reason, that money seems to disappear, and the roads don't get any better. So I think somebody's got something going on there.
Yeah, it sounds like a Beatles song. Wow, what happened with the static all of a sudden?
Mine's run 57 to 59, sometimes over.
Yeah, a little bit. About an hour ago, I was getting about a steady 5 or 6. Now I'm up to like a 7 or a 8 with 9+ crashes.
Yeah, that's the same thing here, yeah.
Hey, Randy, KH3STK.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Not bad. Which way do you run this night?
I'm on the Mark V, running through the Quadra, pushing, looks like about 800 watts.
Nice. How you like the Quadra?
Oh, I wouldn't be without it. Like Saggy always says, linear is the wave of the future.
Yeah, I know a few people that have. They love them too. They really have no problems with them.
No, this was my first Elmer is a cousin who's in FEMA for most of his adult life in radio communications, and he was a Yaesu guy. That doesn't make him a bad guy. But he recommended if you're going to do anything, get at least the Mark V and the Quadra, and because it's knock on wood here, it's fairly bulletproof, and it's idiot-proof. I've tried to blow it up a few times, but it winks and beeps at me and says, no, we can't do that, so we're shutting down. So I'm really loved, and it follows you band to band. You can tune it, you can untune it, you can decide not to use it. So it's I really like it.
Very nice, very nice. You didn't get a new Yaesu, did you? A 100E?
I did. Yes, I did.
Okay, how you like that?
Oh, it was all right. I mean, it was, I don't know, jury's still out, so I'm going back and forth seeing, doing the A-B comparison just to see what's new and what's better and what they might have missed. So, jury's still out.
Did you have any luck on getting the audio tweaked up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's, I got it close. I had it for a week, and it could still use a lot more tweaking, but I did get your settings and put a few of them through their paces, but you know, like we both know, it depends on the person's audio range, the mic they're using, and all the electronics in between. So it all depends. You know, two guys can have the exact same setup, and one sounds crappy and one sounds great. But and obviously band conditions. So W2 Caraway.
How about from Tasmania? Would that one work for you?
Nope.
I've got it. I've just got to find it. I've got thousands of cards I've got to go through. I've got many England, Romania, Italy. I've got the marriage of Prince the Prince of Wales and Lady Diane Spencer. I can give you that card.
Randy, I think you're missing the point.
No, I'm not missing a point, you ass. I'm going to get you the goddamn thing from Mongolia.
You need to pump the brakes there, mister. I'm talking about tough conditions. You were complaining about a challenge because it was too easy back then. I want a card from Mongolia today, okay? Today, I want you to talk to Mongolia when the conditions are tough.
Oh, you want me to talk today to Mongolia?
Si, senor.
Oh, hang on a second. Let me get my phone.
Oh, you going remote?
No, I'm going to call somebody.
Don't tell Ray.
Call JT1DG.
I want to find you the card when I was a kid, worked the station in Mongolia for my CB. I've got lots and lots of cards here. From I pulled this one up for you because I knew you would like this one. It's the 100th anniversary of the U.S. Naval Radio Station, the NSS. Oh, wait a minute. This is a modern one. Never mind.
Hey, Randy.
Shut up.
I was sitting in the chair right next to you, and you were showing me all those cards about a year ago.
Oh, did you take my Mongolia card?
I cannot confirm nor deny.
I got a couple if you want to borrow one, Randy.
Actually, now that you mention that, you showed me the Prince Diana thing. You couldn't find the Mongolia card when I was there, so I'm thinking maybe, wait a minute.
No, you know what it is, I think? I've got a cigar box that my daughter decorated when she was a kid, you know, really young for me. And I've got a lot of pictures and important things in that box. And I think I may have stashed that Mongolia card in that box. I might have to look in a different cigar box.
You said you couldn't find that Mongolia card when I was over there, but you had mentioned that the Bad Mike was there before I was, so I'm just saying.
Oh, that freakazoid. He may have taken it. A lot of England cards. So you saw Alpha Tango. Where are these guys out of? Alpha Tango International DX Group. From France. Here's Madrid. You know, when I used to get these things as a kid, it was just something. You know, when you're a 14-year-old kid and talking to people all over the world on your radio, it was amazing to me that you could do something like that. Till today, I still really enjoy it.
Hey guys, can I get a radio check?
What's that? Who wants the signal report?
November 2 Oscar, Zulu Oscar.
Okay, N2 Zulu Oscar. Go ahead.
No, it's November 2 Oscar, Zulu Oscar. 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 2 Oscar, I just wondering how this antenna. I just got the antenna up this past weekend, and you're the first contact I've made on 160 here.
Okay, where are you located?
Northern New Jersey.
And what's your power? 100 watts?
That's Roger.
Okay, you're about 10 over S9, which is not a super good signal, but for 100 watts, you're not doing terrible.
All right, I do appreciate you. Do you hear any RF in the signal at all?
I can't hear you well enough to tell you, but I do hear something that sounds like RF. It sounds kind of fuzzy, and to me it seems like you've got some work to do there.
And thanks for getting back to me.
Okay, you're welcome. My call is Kilo Bravo 2, Zulu Victor Papa, and I'm Randy, and I'm in central New York, just a little bit north of Syracuse.
Hey, Roger, Randy. The name is Dennis, and I'm located in northern New Jersey. That's 25 miles down the water gap, and that's 25 miles.
Okay, very good. The rest of you guys here, and Mike, okay?
No copy here.
I got a copy on your mic over here in Damascus, Maryland. Real good.
Hello, Mike. I have a copy in Connecticut, northeastern Connecticut. You are 5-9, S9. When there are no static crashes, I have a good copy, but static crashes wipes you out. K1DSK.
I remember those.
Trouble.
Running full watch with some contact like that. When you make contact like that, you like a chance to get
I'm sorry, I think we doubled. I missed part of it.
I was just commenting about the contact we made back in the CB days of CB radio and all that into like that, you want to catch me out.
Well, Randy, that's for you.
I couldn't. Yeah, he faded into the noise. He's just barely readable. Mike, your audio needs a lot to be desired. You've got to get some mids in it there, and more of it. Can you add a bit more compression, perhaps, or increase the audio a bit?
Let me play around with this a little bit, and I'll get back to you when I'm back in a little bit. Carry on with the QSL question.
Okay, Mike. Thanks for coming by.
That's funny. He was only S7 here, but I could hear every word that he said. Oh, my God, Randy, why didn't you tell me?
Well, I didn't want to break your stones, but you got to have the compression turn on.
No, I didn't have my compression turned on.
I know. That's what I meant.
A lot better, doesn't it?
Yeah, way better. No, it sounded pretty pathetic before.
Why didn't you tell me?
Because if you sounded good, then nobody would say, "Wow, Randy, the bad Randy sounds great."
Well, I don't think you have anything to worry about.
No, I like to stack the deck in my favor, you know.
Who's trying to rear me?
What are you trying to start trouble for, Walt?
I've heard that before many times, Randy, and usually it's you.
Well, I only want to bust. Of course, Ray and I have a history.
Yeah, and tonight he was a bit stronger than you, but I didn't want to tell you.
That's impossible. There's something the matter with your radio.
Yeah, I received the wrong frequency. Anyhow, Randy, I did check on Tim there in Illinois. He wasn't in with us on Friday. He was in chemo, and he's not going to be out of the release from there until Sunday. So just keep me in your prayers, if you could, please. Thank you.
Yeah, having a tough time, huh?
Yeah, K922. You've talked to Tim several times, I'm sure.
Yeah, now he had to. Okay, so when I talked to Tim last, he was talking about he was having some more troubles with his cancer. Now, but it didn't sound like he was going to be going into the hospital and staying for a while or anything. What's happening?
Well, like I said, I texted him earlier this evening, and he replied right back that the reason he wasn't on Friday is because they had taken him into the hospital on Tuesday, and they were treating him from the chemo, and he didn't know if he'd be out Sunday in time and be home and feel up to doing anything by 10 o'clock Sunday night. So he may miss a few of them, but the fact that he was still getting treatments was what I guess news.
Give me Tim's call.
K9TQ.
That's it. Okay, K9TQ. And I think I'm sure I have his, let me just double check, make sure I've got his phone number. I'll text him tomorrow.
All right, gentlemen, time to call it.